Y'all, I fucking hate that intro. I couldn't take it. Big up yourself. Welcome back to the Secret Society of Good Guys, episode 5. We are going to get into all thing monster. How are you guys today?
Great. You're lucky I wasn't picking my nose.
That's right.
I know everybody's sitting over there chilling, and you're like, oh shit, we're on. I need to make something better for us to come into, but that's what's in the app.
If you give me enough time, I'll figure something out for us.
All right, perfect. I know it's at this point you're so good at producing so much stuff that it's embarrassing for you to be on here with that as our intro. Thomas, you are only a couple of people away, right, from your goal for the Frazzledrip Funhouse?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're definitely going to get there. Now it's just how many are we going to get printed? But yeah, I think like 3 or 4 more people at frazzledripfunhouse.com to grab a copy. But it's coming. Like, no matter what, it's going to be coming now.
I actually have Donut. Welcome to the Secret Society of Good Guys. Can you hear us yet? Maybe not yet. Maybe why Donut gets his stuff together. I told everyone that I would show the Frazzledrip Funhouse last week, but I was not computer literate enough. So I did figure it out this week. So is that cool if I play it right now?
Yeah,
Thomas?
of course.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue against that.
All right. So I will shamelessly plug you.
Frazzledrip Funhouse. Enter, if you dare, the world of an animatronic bear whose metallic heart beats with a thirst for justice, a hunger for revenge. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, connoisseurs of the macabre and seekers of the scandalous. Your voracious appetites for chilling narratives are about to be satiated by the heart-stopping, pulse-pounding creation of paranoid American and winged Sun comics. Abandoned in the dusty corners of amusement, now awoken in the murk of wickedness perpetrated by an evil elite. And this is not your childhood fairy tale, but a macabre dance of vindication, soaked in crimson, a symphony of screams echoing in the dimly lit chambers of malevolence. Be prepared for an onslaught of ghastly gore and titillating terror. A wicked waltz through twisted hallways and blood-stained basements where only the brave dare to tread. Quake at the bear's unyielding pursuit, cackle at the sharp and sardonic one-liners, shudder at the graphic, gratuitous scenes that harken back to the glory days of B-horror flicks. Frazzledrip Funhouse is your ticket to a thrill ride of terror. A carnival of carnage where the laughs are as loud as the screams. Uncover the truth beneath the rust and the blood. And remember, nothing is as it seems. Are you ready to step into the Frazzledrip Funhouse, where the animatronic eyes are always watching, and vengeance is a game that everyone can play? Get your backer exclusive cover on Indiegogo. For more information, visit paranoidamerican.com.
It's so awesome.
That's so dope. Really.
For
Hopefully
entertainment purposes.
it'll be the only Frazzledrip comic book in existence.
Yes. And it needs one. This world needs one.
And that is for entertainment purposes only.
Based on a true story.
I know we were talking before we went on air, and I was called a witch like 4 times today before I took my afternoon nap. And Layla was saying she was called a witch today. And I was like, ooh, must be the season. Hillary, have you been called a witch today?
I was called a Satanist multiple times this week, if that counts.
Yeah, it does. It does.
You think better or worse?
I think it's the same.
Yeah.
Well, I was called a bitch today, and really I was. No lie.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
They were joking. A coach. So I was at a
They
football
were
game.
joking.
They were joking.
Were they joking about you being a witch?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't think they were joking when they said it to me.
I definitely don't think they were joking when they said it to me.
Oh, yeah. Yours for sure.
Were you
I
doing witchy things?
Well, then I'm just like, okay. I had something to do with killing the queen. And trust me, it cost me my spleen. Relax, everyone.
I was talking about something in the planets in the sky, something about the planets, and one of our cooks is like, "Wow, that sounded really witchy. Are you a witch?" I was like, "I guess I am." And I never said that. I never said yes, I am ever in my life until that moment. I was like, "But the good kind, but the good kind." I'm not really a witch, but you got to play the game. Let them think you are one.
I got
It
asked
feels
if I was a
weird.
gypsy. I was like, a gypsy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like an OG witch.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's pretty badass. That was like my preferred Halloween costume when I was a kid.
Are witches monsters? We're going to talk about witches a little bit next week. But are they in the category of monsters, even though they always get put with monsters?
I don't think so. Are you talking about the type of witch that they portray, like the green face, long nose, long chin type of witch, or
The
I
Hansel
mean,
and Gretel type witch. That's kind of monstrous.
that's
Mm.
like that. Yeah, that's a monsterish kind because the story about a witch and why she looks green and her nose is long, her chin is long. A lot of these girls during the King James time and the witch burnings, a lot of the witches, so-called witches, were beat, raped, starved. I mean, you couldn't even tell who the person was on their face, and their black and blues like turned green after a while. So imagine seeing like a green faced woman with no nails, bleeding nails from like trying to escape all the torture that they faced. So they had long noses because of the swollen noses, long chins because swollen chins and cheeks, and because of all the torture they endured. So that's why they gave him the green face.
Huh. It was from bruises.
Yeah. And torture. And
I
why?
think that version is a monster, though.
Yeah. The green version, yeah.
The green version with the mole and the long nose, even if it's based on people that were just swollen. That
Okay.
version, I guess we're talking about like not Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, like
Wizard of Oz.
that style witch. That's a monster
Yes.
witch.
Yes.
And if you eat kids, I think that counts as being a monster.
It does. Eating human is monster, right?
Well,
I would know. I'm an expert.
talking
That's true, Hillary.
talking about child eating monsters, we have an ancient monster called Lamia or Lamia. She's a half serpent, half woman, and no, it's not Medusa. She was a child eating monster and was later regarded as a night haunting spirit. She was queen of Libya, supposedly at the time, and had an affair with Zeus. And Hera's wife, Hera's wife robbed Lamia's children and kids of Zeus and Lamia. So Hera stole their children that they had together, and she had them killed, and which sent Lamia into like an insane frenzy, which she started whenever she would see a child, she would hunt them down and devour them. But Zeus wanted to calm her down, so he gave her powers of prophecy, and it calmed her down a lot because it distracted her instead of eating children. But she was beautiful and she became ugly and monstrous. But that's the legend of Lamia or Lamia.
It sounds like that what's that Starbucks monster.
Oh,
I think they incorporated it into Riverdale too.
honestly, I don't think she had the two, but yeah.
Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Your sound isn't on.
Yeah,
Can't
this
hear
sound's
Damn
not
it.
on, but
Damn it.
We can't hear
So
you.
good and the sound's not on. It's perfectly Gordy that the sound's not on.
he doesn't realize it yet.
He's like, no sound? Oh,
there
shit.
we go. Yeah.
He can't see probably without his glasses.
He said that. He just said, I can't see without my goddamn glasses.
That's funny.
I love it.
No, can't hear you. This is amazing. I like how it's like a bag of chips. Nope, no Gordy. Gordy's also been working on a theme song. Maybe he has to come back.
The presentation is awesome.
I know, that was incredible. It's a shame that Frankenstein's next week.
Oh, is it next week?
I think
forgot.
Frankenstein and AI we were talking about doing next week.
Oh yeah, but still, you could do that next week again too. Yeah.
That is a dope costume. I like
Mhm,
the
I
full
love it.
effect. It's like comic Frankenstein, even how the bolts were coming out.
Love
And Donut disappeared. Donut came on. Maybe he saw us in costume and was like, "Oh shit,
Shit, be right back.
BRB, let me get my glasses."
it.
What do you guys consider a monster? Is it
That
a
is-
ghost? Is it people? Is it animals? Like what could a monster mean to anybody? Could it be a shadow? Children are scared of their own shadows.
Things that are unexplainable that scare you.
Is that I guess.
Like anything that when you were a little kid that you might have feared would be in the dark.
I
I
wrote
feel
that
like
too.
it would be physical, not because it like has to be, but if I found out it was just a shadow, like I don't know if it would scare me, but yeah, if there was like something in the closet making noise or under the bed, like I was legit afraid it would, hurt me physically, not just because it was gonna scare me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like there was some movie like called like Crawlers or something like that in the 80s or 90s, and like I was afraid to flush the toilet, and like I'd flush the toilet and run down the hall because I wouldn't wash my hands. I'd forget
Critters,
yes. Oh my gosh.
critters, yeah.
That scared me so bad. So like I would have to run down my hallway after I went to the bathroom.
Because they lived in the sewer. There were like aliens that lived in the sewer.
Oh, that was a monster.
All right, sound
Even though
check
they were
1
critters.
2 1 2. Nope, no Gordy. Still nothing.
It's
He
your
went
costume
on
is
for a minute. Like I heard him for a second. I heard him for a second, and then I don't know what happened.
you might need to get some stitches in your tongue or something.
Or play around with the settings.
A mad Frankenstein is always funny.
It is funny.
It made me miss Phil Hartman.
So, do you guys believe that everything is its own entity, even though it has no life?
Well, is a shark a monster?
But like I was gonna say, like Shadow, like
No, but
even
Jaws is a monster.
yeah, that is a fucking monster. But
But like like a ghost is a ghost, but it needs flesh to be a monster.
I think so.
I kind of feel that.
yeah,
It's
And
a little
usually
bit
a
more visceral.
monster is like a combination of stuff like put together in some ways.
yeah, like a splice of two species kind of thing.
I'm definitely influenced from Little Monsters with Howie Mandel.
I
love
feel like
that
I hear
movie.
Gordy.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah,
There we go.
Microphone. Fuck. This thing, there's always that one thing that goes wrong with a Frankenstein costume, and it's always the freaking bolt, man. Ever since I was a kid, I was trying to do the goddamn costume. The bolts suck. So
I thought you were gonna say the one thing to go wrong was the microphone.
You look amazing though.
Yeah, it looks great, man.
It's awesome. I'm waiting for you to sing Monster Mash.
Yeah. See. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about. Oh wait, I gotta do it in Adam's voice. There, our rock and roll monster's voice. I'm not
You gotta
that.
tune in.
I'm not that name. Everybody calls me the F word. It's not that name. That's not my name. Do we understand? My name is Adam. The name is Adam. I am the creature, the monster of that dude. And by the way, what's the other name for that book? Do you guys know what the subtitle was? for
What
that
book?
The F word. The F word. What
The
about
Frankenstein.
the homunculus, the Frankenstein. We're talking about the Frankenstein. And what was the other name?
Frankenstein.
It was
I didn't know.
the modern Prometheus, correct? The modern Prometheus. So this asshole, it's the same thing. This Prometheus. Here, let me show you something. Can I show you something?
Show me something, please.
Okay, look at this. Look at this. Here. Look at that. Here's my. Oh, fuck.
Please don't make this political. We're trying to
I'm
stay out of the Middle East conversation right now. Are you saying Frankenstein's run the world right now, Gordy? Are you saying
Hey man,
Frankenstein's
there's
run the
homunculus
world?
all over the place, man. They're just running rampant. They just put them together in Phoenix.
Oh,
In
okay, tell me.
2019, Layla, don't you know, posted that they were sewing people together up in Phoenix.
Yeah. Chopping them up, a little factory. I
Yeah,
didn't read
I
the
heard
article. You read the article because I can't.
Yeah.
I had to pay
Selling
to
the
read that.
pieces.
In 2019, like they fucking, I remember that. I was like fresh out of rehab, and they were like they're chopping people up in Phoenix, man. I'm like, I can't handle myself. So, yeah, man, I remember that. That was a trip. They
Was
were
that in
really sewing
2019?
people smaller. Yeah, in 2019, they were sewing like they would send like they would they chop them up, right? And they would send the ashes of somebody's hand or something to the family members for whatever, and with a whole bunch of like sawdust and shit. And they would sell all the body parts back to like they were selling them on the internet and stuff. So I don't know. They were going for like $150 for a foot and stuff. What
website was this? Just out of
I don't
curiosity.
I don't know how it was doing. It was just black market shit. I don't know. I don't remember what the details were,
like
but I
dark
remember
web?
hearing on it. Yeah, probably. But they got busted, and it been going on for years, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Anyway, modern Prometheus. Can you blame the man for trying to kill him and throw him in a, he's going to burn with him. Fuck you, man. I didn't ask for this life. You brought me on here.
I didn't know Frankenstein had a southern accent.
That was my great granddad. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We need more hillbilly Frankenstein. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, that Prometheus guy. He can murder me in the window. Take this one nerd. Like, I'm trying to go for the Basil Gogos version of Frankenstein. But I'm trying. I can't get the let's see. There we go.
Hi there, Donut.
Hello.
Donut.
Welcome to the secret society of good guys.
Yo,
Welcome,
what
welcome.
up?
You're now
What's
officially a
going
good
on?
guy.
Yay. I'm finally part of something.
Your initiation will happen after the show. You can decide how you want it.
You can either get jumped in or there's another way.
I'll do.
Never know what can happen in Hillbilly Frankenstein land or Hillbilly Monster Land.
We
I'm
like to call it
dressed up as a
Operation
monster.
Paperclip.
I'm a monster.
It does not mean human.
We're all monsters.
I don't have a loyal title. which makes me a monster in Black's Law Dictionary.
We're doing some Jordan Maxwell. I love that, man. Yeah, because Jordan Maxwell pointed out in what was it? What dictionary? Black's Law.
Yes.
Okay. Didn't you go through this, Cheney? It wasn't
Well,
Black's Law?
It's not
is
Black's Law in a
well,
sense.
it is, but it's like you're not entitled to land. That was one of the things. It's like we thought human meant monster, but monster means like you're not entitled to anything. So and some humans were considered monsters, but not all monsters were humans. But I don't know. But
Yeah.
I did do some more digging on it in Black's Law, so there is a connection to it.
We don't have a Lloydial title like the Queen because they have the Commonwealth. So they have the Commonwealth is land and real estate. They have all the wealth. So I'm dressed up in my monster attire. I wanted to put the 3 hole punches so I could be 3 hole punch Jim, but I didn't know how to cut out pieces of paper. But Jim from The Office. What a monster that guy is.
You think he was the guy that was the real killer, not Dwight?
Dwight was fantastic. He was all about prepping. He spoke the truth. He didn't lie. And what they did was they put him on the pharmaceuticals. And then after they put him on the pharmaceuticals, he changed his personality and he started to like the psychopath Jim, who treats him terribly. Jim would abuse Dwight 24/7. And Dwight and Pam just had no empathy for anybody in the office but themselves. So they got Dwight hooked on the pharmaceuticals. And then Dwight started liking his
I love this idea.
Rainn Wilson, the real Dwight, it might be a monster though. I think he's like a Hillary Clinton friend and helped a lot on Haiti.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No
He
kidding.
changed his name to Rainforest Wilson. And he was in House of a Thousand Corpses. They chopped his head off and put it on a fish, I think. So he was like Fishman in House of a Thousand Corpses.
I did write it down. In the Black's Law, it's a monster, a prodigious birth. Don't mind the teeth. I did realize this is why vampires talk like this. A human birth or offspring not having the shape of mankind, which cannot be an heir to any land, albeit brought forth in marriage. So they can't even inherit anything.
Unless they marry into the bloodline. Is that what that was saying?
I know, unless by marriage, albeit by marriage. So how many humans could they call a monster? And then they're not entitled to any land or entitlement.
Yes. I like to bring up The Office because these television shows and movies that show the monsters play super deep in our psychology as well. The anti-hero, Chucky, for example, is a toy. And the toy is protecting the child. So I like Chucky the most, and it's probably because that toy I saw as a savior figure in the head to protect me from the adults, because the adults are monsters. The adults are the tyrannical for the children, and the children are helpless to the parents. And I think it was Melanie Klein who she did her therapy with children and had them play with toys because they couldn't explain what was going on. So they would be like, "Oh, F you, mom," you know? She was like, "Oh, maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it wasn't Melanie Klein. It was probably Karen Horney. I don't know though, but interesting thing with toys, you know."
Chucky, that was a scary one.
Wasn't he only protecting the kid because he wanted the kid's body, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but as the viewer, as the watcher watching it and idolizing or liking that monster. But yeah, Chucky, he was doing real voodoo that they do. He even did the real prayer. to transfer his consciousness into
Really?
yeah.
Have you seen Serpent in the Rainbow?
Holy shit.
No, what's that?
Oh no. Okay. I love this movie. This was one of my favorite horror movies because I don't think Frankenstein isn't a horror movie. Frankenstein is the first sci-fi. That's a sci-fi story because it puts its faith in science and all that. It's the horrors of science or whatever. But Serpent in the Rainbow is about the dude who was studying, I can't remember what the study is, but they were trying to find that anesthesia. So he had heard about that voodoo thing, the powder or whatever that they use with the fish, the fugu, and they get the toxin out or whatever. He was trying to learn that. That's why he went down to Haiti and got in with the voodoo folk. And then got fucking zombified and like buried alive, and like freaked me the fuck out as a kid, man. I was like, that. I think that was the first one, like, because I fucking loved monster movies. Like when I was a kid, there was nothing on in rural buttfuck Arizona. Like you're lucky if you got one channel, like on the reservations, man. All they played was old ass movies because they gave the Indian television stations just for crap movies, right? And so it was just stuff that was, or just old stuff that was like coming from like almost reels, that had been like circulating and shit. So like we grew, all those kids in those little trailer ass towns and on the res, like grew up with like just like shitloads of Godzilla and Frankenstein.
Oh, that makes sense. While my Juggalo Native American ninjas out there at the concert like ICP so much. At the ICP concerts, it's full of Native Americans.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, man. I wonder if there's always something with the clown imagery too, like because the clowns are in their mythology. The partying clowns, like it's kind of a stereotype.
It's in the Native American.
Yeah, in the Kachinas, some of the Kachina stories that there's these. My dad used to collect these pottery clowns, and they were like striped, right? And there was like they're one of the Kachina stories, and like the owl comes in and like straightens them out and shit. Have you ever heard that?
I
They
haven't
look
heard
like juggalos,
story,
like those clowns. Kind of look like those juggalos, and those guys like that are partier, types in that culture. Like I get it, man. They're living out the myth. It's amazing.
and the Hatchet Man looks like the I already forget what it is, but I'm out in Arizona and they're all over the place.
There you go. Yeah, dude. Where are you? You in Phoenix?
I'm right down the street from Phoenix.
Okay. Good. I'm glad there's more zonies out here. It's good to meet you, man. I've been trying to follow you and listen to you guys and respect for everything that everybody in here is doing, man. I love it.
Somebody in the comment brought up The Exorcist, and there is something going on with this number 50, the 50th year from the Yom Kippur War. 50 Cent, it just got awarded with a Connecticut thing, the 50th state of Hawaii, the 50th state caught on fire. It's the 50th year of hip hop, and The Exorcist is celebrating its 50th year.
Holy shit. How did you come up with that realization?
Wow.
Well, 50 is the Jubilee year. So like you got the Shemitah, which is the 49 year, and then the 50th year, and that is like the Liberty Bell is dedicated. They got like the thing on there. It's just pattern recognition of like the same numbers repeating, 322, 201, even 201 just popped up. I'm not sure if you know about that number, but that number pops up a lot, just like 322 or 33. Yeah.
Well, today is 201.
Today is 201?
I mean, it's 102, right?
Mm.
October 21st. So there's the 201 right there.
1021.
It's all over the place.
1020.
So what's the
And
significance
that's awesome.
of the
50
other
years
numbers you were
white.
talking about?
With the 50?
No, not the 50, the 32, 3201.
Yeah, so it just seems like there's numbers used as graffiti or symbolism. And 5-1 was the day the Illuminati was founded. So you got like an area 5-1. The aliens invaded on May 1st, 5-1, which is Beltane. Or 33, that's like 33 vertebrae, 33 Mason, 33 degrees changes from water, ice, water. So it's just like symbols, I think, what it is, just a signature of saying, hello, we're controlling this thing.
Hello.
Like 322, it's going bones. Hello, 322.
Like a nod and a wink at each other, like
I think so.
like a
Or
language you might
it's
not
just-
speak.
Nice.
Just craziness. Maybe it's just
Well,
art,
it ain't a coincidence.
right?
Are dinosaurs or dragons monsters?
No.
Can they own
I'd say
land?
yes to both.
They know gold.
Dona actually brought up something I'm still thinking about. Like Chucky is a monster, but all Chucky is a possessed doll, right?
Yeah.
So like that's a weird criteria for me.
Disembodied person.
Like so anyone that gets possessed is technically a monster too, I think.
Yeah, because it's not you, it's another.
Because now the
being.
spirit has the flesh.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, it's ghost. It's in the spirit. But once it has your flesh and you're not human, then you're a monster. But I have another. Isn't that kind of like Hereditary, the Chucky thing, or Fallen, where it's like the spirit that's just waiting to jump into another body that's like perfect for it? Like that whole cult in Hereditary protects that boy just so that the spirit has like this perfect young male body to jump into, which is essentially what Chucky's doing. Do you think some of these secret cults are doing that with some of their members? Or
Kinda
maybe that's
reminds
what
me-
Hitler was trying to do by like, let's make a master race of a master race. So when we invite these entities in, they have these super strong bodies.
It's almost like Pinocchio, too, in a sense.
Or Elon Musk with AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, ding, 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 ding. Here we are already. I didn't know we get this fast.
The modern day Prometheus.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Prometheus, man. You already created it and it's educating your children already.
Have you read this book?
And check out your school board and maybe talk to them and see what they're putting in your classrooms to help out your kids, because guess what? There's a lack of teachers all over the place.
That's way too close.
I was trying to put a donut up there so he could show
Wait.
his book off.
Oh, there he is.
There's this book right here called Shelley Unbound, and Joseph P. Farrell did the introduction to it, but he didn't write it, and it goes into Frankenstein and a lot of different stuff, Illuminati connections to it, and that the guy who really created it wasn't Shelley, but it was Percy.
Oh, it wasn't a 19-year-old girl?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
No. You really?
Yeah, and like her like, it's interesting because like her mom was like one of the first feminists too. So it
Right.
kind of goes into, I don't really remember too much of it, but I thought it was an interesting part of history that we're told like this person wrote it, but her boyfriend and they were all having orgies together, like all the right?
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
As you do.
It's not in here, but
That's just Tuesday
Right?
for Hillary.
I was gonna be
Where is it?
Biden. I really screwed up.
You could have balls on your chin.
You like how I covered up not having a costume, but just like started just talking really like fast and talking about human. I plotted this the whole time. I was like, how can I get out of this?
I gotta distract. Maybe do I have a smoke bomb somewhere?
I have this video since you brought up that you were gonna be Biden real quick to show you guys because I just want you to look at his chin. It's been around this week.
Dude,
Sorry,
that
my
is
teeth are
so
getting in the
weird.
way. And it looks like his mask is falling off a little bit. But I want to show it to you guys. It'll go through like a quick progression of different Bidens, and then it'll settle in on the new
We
one.
vote on our.
I know the sound on it is booty. There was no sound on it because I
That's
used
so
it to
weird.
just edit on
Oh, I got you.
TikTok, but I didn't want the music to play on here. But I just wanted really you guys to see what was happening with that
The balls for
base.
chin.
Yeah, people were all writing and like there's some creature in Men in Black that has balls for a chin, but I don't
Called
know.
a Balchinian.
That's so funny. His face is falling off.
It's wild, and I'm like,
You know
how
who
many?
also has
Who?
chins like that? Is the scrolls, the changeling scrolls in Marvel Universe? They kind of have that ball chin thing with lines on it where it's kind of falling apart. You ever notice
That's
that?
crazy.
The
It's like their
funniest
characteristic.
comment I saw was, "Who's playing this guy now? Jay Leno?" I don't know why it
I
made me
know.
laugh.
Yeah, it looks like Jay Leno.
Hey, let's have
Is it-
some
is-
respect.
how
We're
weird.
talking about our president here.
Isn't there like a
Are they
prank?
just getting that lazy? Or is
They
that
just don't
AI
care
fucking up?
because the people who don't want to be awake to it will not. They won't give it any merit. That's all.
Yeah.
There's no convincing them. You could pull the mask off and they're like, oh well, that wasn't him. That
People think it's really him. I don't understand that. Like they put one of them Hollywood masks on him, and who knows who it is.
But I think more people than not are seeing.
Is it like in They Live? You know? Or The Simpsons where they, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Is it Hunter under there? Is he really running the show?
Oh my god.
That's where he was stashing his drugs.
Like, how much crazier can it get? How much
I know,
crazier can it get? Like every time I think, all right, we've
Hold my
we've hit-
beer. You want to see?
I know.
Jesus, right?
That's what you don't know how many people wrote me when I was like, I don't think this is the real dude, or I don't. And so many people are like, you need to take your meds. You're
Yeah.
crazy. Like more people than not came at me sideways. And
Yeah.
so I was just
Wow.
like, whoa, we are living in two different universes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Honestly, I
Oh,
think
man.
they unleashed the bots now. Like it's time to unleash the computer bots because voting season is in session. So it's like full on attack because I haven't seen it for a while, you know, because I'm on there. So recently I've just been seeing a huge amount of attacks on people just for saying the stupidest things. Just simple little lines, and then it's just bot after bot after bot after bot. And I've noticed the trend. It's voting season soon, so get ready.
I have a real question, and this is just a dumb, I don't know. Can we send money anywhere without Congress with a speaker in session? Like, is our government bottlenecked? Like, is this a good thing for us? even though they're trying to make it look like a bad thing. Is it impossible for them to spend any extra of our money right now without Congress in session?
No way, dude. There's never a point in time when a politician isn't able to spend your money.
Right.
Well, they already have the amount they set aside to spend. It's like every year. But new money for war, or they can't even declare war, I don't think, without the Congress in session. And I think an extra amount gets declared once they declare war on anything. That's why we have war on obesity and war on drugs and war on terrorism and war on all these like invisible enemies. I think that they can't like put an extra amount anywhere because no one's working. Like all those people are supposed to represent our state, and right now there's like that kind of idea of no taxation without representation. It makes me laugh because it's so ludicrous. But that they can't work right now. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive, but it seems like it's stunted.
I think they have their own rules for them.
Mm.
And like rules for us to know, but like they have rules that we don't know about, or they break the rules and they can just get away with it. Maybe.
That's
I
the
don't-
first thing I learned in film school.
Yeah.
that there's no rules in filmmaking. And everything is a film in a sense, like and scripted.
It's all a film.
Couldn't you say
Central
one of the
Can you
rules
do
of filming is
Yeah,
make sure
backwards.
that you hit record?
Oh man. Or don't delete the tape accidentally, like the moon landing tapes. Don't delete those. There was another event. Yeah,
They needed you around to tell them
Ridiculous.
that before, man.
Ridiculous.
I've deleted tapes. I think what's going on with the what you're talking about with the money thing is that we're at the 33 trillion debt clock, and the only way to reset the debt, like through a jubilee, which is that 50, is through war, and that's what we see happening with the war drums and a CBDC as well. So it's all leading to those two things.
Somebody put in chat too. Let me see if I can find it back in here, which I thought it was that hangman ritual of 50 Cent. They
Yeah,
put a
so-
clip in here for you.
Yeah, so like 50 Cent at the Super Bowl, he was hanging upside down like the tarot card. And that's how he's always known. When he first was created in the lab, like a homunculus, he was hanging upside down as well, which means sacrifice, I believe, in the tarot,
Right.
the hangman.
The hangman.
So I feel like there's going to be a sacrifice with 50 connected to something as JFK's on the 50 Cent. 50 Cent, that's the cover of his first album, was him being on like the 50 Cent.
The hangman on 9/11.
The
guy-
hangman on 9/11, right? On the Tridents and like Elm Street, that movie that you brought up, The Rainbow and the Serpent, was created by Wes Craven. The Nightmare on Elm Street, where JFK was assassinated on a huge trident as well. There's just a lot of symbols everywhere that I like to look at, especially that Nicki Minaj right there. Yeah, what's up, Nicki? And I kind of,
Black Barbie.
yeah, she just dropped a new song, Barbs. Did you know that?
Didn't she drop a song with Bad Bunny?
Oh, Bad Bunny's Illuminati.
Uh-huh. Even the
Yeah.
name Bad Bunny. And he's getting a lot of, I feel like he is way more famous than anyone watching this show would know.
Wasn't he in a photo with Britney Spears recently? Or no?
He's dating Kendall Jenner, I think.
This is the first time I've heard that name, and I thought it was a girl when you first said it. Bad Bunny's a boy.
Yeah.
Well, he likes everybody.
Your cat's kind of famous too, huh, Donut?
Yes. Yeah.
Cats are the best.
What's his
I'm a witch.
Cats are the best. I have the same cat.
Man.
Oh, hi.
You have a Russian blue?
Yeah.
Look at that face.
And a black one.
Oh, I had a black one too, but he ran away.
You have a
Best.
Russian spy?
This is my
Yeah.
Russian spy.
How cool.
They're so
I love those
cuddly.
kind of cats.
Yeah,
These
They have the
breeds
really
are
dense-
just
Dense glaze. Dense
muffin
fur.
makers all day. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Muffin makers.
Uh-huh. I swear. She's
Yeah,
so
he just
Is
fucking
is a cat a monster
no.
nah.
Are
But-
you a bird or a
or a
rabbit?
mouse?
Yeah. I swear this cat's is gonna eat me
That's what we need.
one
Yeah.
day. It'd be staring at me.
If I get so lucky.
They don't wait that long, right? Cats will like start eating your face after like 2 days or something.
They go
So-
right in, yeah, because
Yeah.
A
they're
gorilla.
survivors.
A gorilla isn't a monster, but what's that guy? Bigfoot is, huh?
Bigfoot, shout out to
Bigfoot, yeah.
Bigfoot.
Is Bigfoot,
Is Bigfoot a
cryptid
monster?
monsters, though?
I
They're
think
not monsters.
Bigfoot is a DNA hybrid. It's a splice, and it was a fucked up situation. That's what I think.
So it's a monster.
It was a fucked up situation. There's a lot of trauma going on with Yetis.
There is. I mean, there's only like one of them. They probably have like
That's why they're all
low sperm count, like a
crying. That's why
liger.
they-
So
That's why they sound like
lonely.
that. They're all-
We're just crying all the
Frankenstein's
time.
growl. Like or monsters growl. You know. they're
What about
not-
if Frankenstein's like,
why do
and
you
then
do
like
this?
whoever
It's
like
like, why
Wolfman's
did you
going
put-
with Frankenstein and it's like, stop whining.
Yeah, Frankenstein wasn't the
Why not?
monster. It was the society. The
Right, it was-
society was the
It was
monster.
the village. Yeah, they were the monster.
Oh, I just thought of a great monster,
Totally
Edward
correct.
Scissorhands.
Like especially
yeah.
in
That's
The
a
Bride of
great
Frankenstein?
monster. He's a good monster.
Mhm.
The Bride of Frankenstein. Have you ever watched that? Like, it's like sat down with Bride of Frankenstein.
Bro, I
Dude,
like the Brides of Dracula. That's one of my
Oh
favorite
fuck
movies.
yes, yes, I love that shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Is like a centaur or minotaur or that kind of stuff monsters?
It sounds like a monster.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
Yeti
I
has-
think
yeah.
so.
Yeti is totally a monster then.
All right.
it
Okay.
is.
Sure.
What Loch Ness monster, or is that
That's
just
like
a
monster.
spell?
Sure. Everybody's
Well,
monster.
that Loch Ness
We
fits
used to
into
be-
the dinosaur and dragon category, I think.
Yeah. it
Well,
does.
big
you
goat
know,
left from
there's
Alice-
Aleister
Head.
Crowley's spell could be an
Yeah.
egregore or a spirit.
yeah, because of that
Which makes it
house
real,
that you
though.
did, the Alamantra workings.
Yeah.
There's
Is
some
it
new
gold?
revelations with the Loch Ness monster being a worm. That the one-on-one podcast,
Oh,
because it looks like a worm.
Yeah. It does.
okay.
Yeah,
But
they-
it was when I was a kid. It was like it had to be something like an eel, right? But
Well, so that takes me
The
back to
giant-
Pyramid Lake in Nevada. I don't know if you guys have heard of Pyramid Lake, but it's Indian reservation. It's the Paiute reservation, and it's sacred. It's a salt lake in the middle of the desert, and it has a pyramid in it.
what?
And yeah, so it's a natural formation. It's from what they call tufa, but the whole bottom of the lake is clay, and there's no known bottom of the lake. Like if there's rescuers that have to go in to find people, like they're blind, you can't see your hand in front of your face, like in the deep waters. But
Whoa.
they have the legend of the water babies,
What
which
country
is
did you say, or what state?
Nevada.
Okay.
The legend of the water babies, and the water babies, people discard the babies like in lots of societies when they're born with deformities or they aren't quite right. Well, the story that I always got as a kid was that they would throw the deformed babies into the water, and that the water babies would come out at night and especially attack white people. You'd hear them crying, and then they would come and drag you into the lake. And people went missing all the time in this lake, and they would actually find bodies that weren't missing in the lake as well. People from like the other side of the world. So there's only two places in the world that have this certain type of fish called a kiwi fish, and it's the Red Sea and Pyramid Lake in Nevada. Anyway,
Whoa,
see, there's the stone
whoa.
mother. There's the stone mother. She's a giant. I don't know if you can see her right there. She's at Pyramid Lake. She's looking out towards the pyramid. But there's the legend. The water babies allegedly, though, was one of the sons of her married a woman from the coast who was a siren. So he brought a siren home back to this lake, and the Paiute people hated her. And so they made life like hell for her. And instead of leaving, she went and lived in the lake, and they would feed the babies to her to like appease her somehow. Anyway, she became like a serpent, like a demon. And what tripped me out is that I had never heard the serpent version of this story. I like was researching it for a college paper to like kind of talk about mythology. And I found the story online because the Native Americans don't tell their stories. Like you only get a little version of it. You don't get the whole thing. So, but it triggered this memory because there's hot springs there too. So I was at the hot springs with my brother and my dad, and we had been at the lake all day, and then we were finishing off at the hot springs, and then all of a sudden we look out towards like the east side of the lake, and we see this. You saw this thing going like this, and in my mind, I couldn't process what the hell I was seeing, and my dad was like, "Get in the car right now!" And my brother, I'm still like not willing to see it, right? But my brother remembered it, and he brought it up to me a couple years ago. So then it triggered the memory in me, and it was like, it wasn't on my cosmography chart. I couldn't allow a new opening there because it just was too scary. But there was a serpent in that lake. So I think these lakes have them, and them could all be connected. But
Layla always brings up that worm also means dragon.
it's like a water
Yes.
dragon. And so, because I remember being on a boat at that same lake and like being tugged on a tube and freaking out at one point, like I could feel something chasing us. Like I had to get off the tube.
I don't
Well,
know.
Aleister Crowley was doing this Alamantra workings in this house that Jimmy Page purchased or whatever, and he didn't finish it, and I guess he left or something, and then that's when's the Loch Ness monster. So there's this Aleister Crowley
Yeah.
connection to the monster. Yeah.
And it just coincided with it when he started getting into drugs. Like that's why he left. Like he just became an addict and was like, well, fuck it, and like didn't close whatever ceremony he was doing apparently, which opened a portal. This is the idea, right? This is what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some sort of monster came in from another dimension, and I wonder though, because there's been weird shit in the desert, like talking about monsters. I think I saw, I wouldn't say as far as cryptids in the deserts, I saw a 4-foot roadrunner, and I've seen like some sort of like shadow thing like going through like Choya and stuff, like in the middle of the night in desert. That's weird, man. And that's a weird feeling. Like, and then you don't know if you're like then you start questioning, like, did I really see that? And then, but when you like,
I see crazy
something-
shit all the time out here in
Like-
Arizona.
yeah, dude. Like
It's probably because
I
I'm
was walking-
dehydrated.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that
Or
could
you're
be
just
too.
seeing shit.
You
I've seen ghosts
walk in
and
the
felt
desert a lot?
them. What?
do you walk in the desert a lot out there?
Every day, yeah. Mhm.
Right on, man.
Yeah, I go to Papago Park
Papago, okay. All
That's
right,
like
right
in-
on.
next to a military base and a golf course.
Didn't
See?
Crowley also say that the desert is where lots
love
of
that.
like entities end up wandering?
Yeah, I buy it,
well,
dude. I saw a
Mhm.
fucking apparition walking the dog the other night. Like I was coming back around my block here, walking the dog at twilight because it was like perfect weather, right? And I'm like, oh god, I love this weather. It's been so perfect, and I want to get out as much as possible because God knows what the fuck's gonna happen. And with the skies, because they've been bad and they're like clearing up and stuff, I'm like taking advantage of that shit. So I'm walking the dog at twilight, trying to get the sunset that's not like interrupted with all sorts of chemicals and shit. And right at that perfect time, I'm walking the dog right back in this alley right here behind me. And I'm looking down the alley, and I see this guy walking, and the dog stopped, and she was not going anywhere. She's a Ridgeback. Dinky, hey,
Dinky, shut
Dinky.
the fuck up.
God damn it. Come here. No, come here, baby.
Hey, Dinky.
You're a good girl. No, she her Dinky bad. So she stopped, and she's part Ridgeback, right? So she's got this fur that gets that mohawk thing, and she's going no fucking where, right? And she's like, so I thought this guy was walking a dog, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm trying to like focus on it because it's kind of blurry, like at twilight, right? It's kind of hard to see, but it's definitely a fucking dude walking towards me, right? And I kind of look down, and it's like a little kind of fuzzy, though, right? And then as I come, the dog kind of like is like okay to start walking. It comes a little bit further towards us and then walks into the desert and fucking disappears. But it was a dude, like, I don't know, it was little bit taller than me, but it looked like it was walking with a gait like a man.
Yeah, like a swagger.
Yeah, right.
Did he
I mean,
have
that's
two
one of
guns
those
on
things.
his side, and then he spin them and then put them back in his holster?
Hey, you, get the hell out of here. Oh, monster, we can't, this is all little neighborhoods. Too small for the both of us. You get on out of here. And he vamoosed out into the desert. Send him packing.
Have you seen the new show on Netflix, The
Scared the shit
House
out of me.
Fall of Usher?
Huh?
I saw clips of it. I'm like debating whether I should start watching it or not.
What's
Oh,
it
it's
called?
worth it. It's worth it. Yeah. And I don't like a lot of shows except for The Office.
Mhm.
And it's pretty wicked. It's based off of Poe, Edgar Allan Poe story.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Pack the cat, the pack.
Yeah, it's crazy though. The show is insane.
Abby, you brought up the Sirens at Pyramid Lake, and I was talking to Summer today, and I was just like, what monster do you know about? And she was like, the Jamaican Sirens. They're the scariest thing. They're the scariest thing in Jamaica, and people have to go give them gold and pay homage to them so they don't get called into the thing, and it all sounded so similar to yours.
That's what they do with the babies. The babies are to appease it.
Yeah, it seems like such a similar story.
Yeah.
It's wild, and this is in a whole different part of the world, a whole different tribe
Because
of
she's
people
from a whole other part of the world. Because she's from the one in the lake is from another part of the world. She married into the family, and then she was kind of ostracized by the tribe. They didn't like her because she's a demon.
And in
That's
Jamaica,
interesting.
they're called mermaids.
Mermaids.
Yeah, like I thought, like they say, like it's like knife men or gunmen. I don't know. So it was like mermaid. I thought she was at first it was a thing, but then it's like a murmur because they call you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought it was weird.
Sense.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I wonder.
And then it made me think of murmur, the word totally different. Like,
have you guys heard weird?
And myrrh comes from like murder.
oh
Like
yeah.
that?
An old English morb. Myrrh. I'm looking up the etymology to die.
Well, I was even
It
thinking,
means dead. Like in
does monster mean if monster, now we live under the moons. So the month, could monster mean moonster? So could it have
Star.
originally been something out at night or under the moon,
a
or
moon star.
something that changed?
Or Mons having to do with the vagina.
Oh yeah.
What's the vagina? have to
Mons
do with,
Mons is the pubic mound. I don't know
what
if
is
you
a
know,
vagina?
right?
That's the Monstar is like
I've done this whole-
like gay.
I had to say it.
The
I'm looking
Monstar.
So one of the monsters that we still kind of like talk about is Kuchedra the dragon. It's a big thing, and some people even believe like the Albanian flag is probably even could be dragon symbolism, but I personally think it's eagle. But Kuchedra, its earlier stage is Ebola, like Ebola, which has appearance of a water chthonic demon serpent. So they used to, I guess, appease her by sacrifices. They would human sacrifice, but anytime a Kuchedra would be in a town, whatever town she was in, they were either prosperous or poor, depending on what kind of ritual they done for the Kuchedra. So she could also appear as the guise of a woman, and she keeps her true nature hidden as a semi-human divine figure. She could also take possession of the moon and the sun in Southern beliefs. And she's described as an enormous female serpent who surrounds the world. So we still believe in this. I do. And I find this maybe the big monster of our culture in ancient Macedonia, Palgician, Illyrian, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, go ahead. Check it out.
It looks like the Maxwell family crest. It's like the
does.
amount of things that this is on, and I always saw it as a double-headed eagle, but then I could see dragon for sure, and I think there's even the Scorpio myth that the Scorpio has 3 stages, the scorpion to the dragon to the phoenix, and then everybody I've been just shooting the shit around this dragon dinosaur philosophy, a lot of people are like giant bird, giant bird, giant bird. Then it makes so much more sense to fly, and it takes this reptile in between out of it all together. So what if there was this, like, instead of us thinking of reptile dragon, what if it was a bird that came from flames?
A phoenix, yeah.
Like a phoenix, yeah. Rising again from the ashes.
I don't know. I'm still studying my our culture's, symbology, and there's a lot of moon bull representation, the spiral, the swastika, a lot of these symbols that are like supposedly evil. But it's like something in history just reversed everything, and we're like calling all these things evil.
But you had the serpent that was like surrounding the earth, or the whatever you want to call it, the world, right? You just you said that as well, and that's that's a very common theme.
The
serpent in the tree, yeah, the egg, the Norse mythology, even, and kind of that's interesting.
Yeah. And I wonder. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, just that double-headed eagle. Also, is like with the Hittites as well, if I'm pronouncing that right. And yeah, I was thinking of All Real Monsters, the cartoon.
Yeah, it's very old. Dardanos, Macedonian, during that proto-Indo-European times. Around that, that's
yeah, all the symbols aren't evil. Like they're
not.
But they're powerful though.
Thomas, didn't you bring up Little Monsters earlier?
Yeah, with I always thought it was Tom Hanks, but I know it's Howie Mandel. One of those Mandel effects.
Savage.
Wayfair.
Equally as creepy.
But he had like the earring. It was like a George Michael thing going on.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, Gordy could
I thought
make
about finding some
monster.
horns and doing the same thing. I was like, maybe I'll do like Little Monsters. Maybe I can find some horns or something. But
I feel like way back in my lesbian brain, Fred Savage was like one of the last boys I had a crush on.
What about the Teletubbies?
During my wonder years, yeah, I never. It was like Winnie Cooper was the girl that just didn't do it for me. That I thought Fred Savage was so cute.
He was like so
my cup of tea.
and I was like, what?
Not my cup of tea. I did not think he was cute at all ever. I don't know why. I thought I was like, who is this guy and who chose him? Like,
I loved him. He was on a Disney show called The Boy Who Could Fly when I was like so young, and so I remembered him on his like.
Oh, he was the one who was friends with the autistic boy in that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I remember that now.
The autistic boy, I never saw him that way until just this moment.
He was autistic. Like he was like the first one that we saw as autistic because they marketed that as autistic. He had autism. And so like that was like the only case of autism most of us had ever seen.
I just thought he could fly.
No, he was autistic.
What? Who are we talking about?
There was this Disney movie when we were young. It was
Really
like
good movie.
it was like after the Peanut Butter Solution, but before the Little Mermaid. It was somewhere in that sect
It's like
of
the
Disney.
Flight of the Navigator era. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed
Totally. Yeah, you might have been like not flighting of the Navigator. You might have been too cool for that.
that. I don't know.
That one was so boring. I just gotta say it.
Flight of the Navigator?
I always
Like
thought it
his
was so
little
boring.
Loved
Pocket
it.
pet.
Oh,
The little
yeah,
alien
yeah.
pocket pet. I thought that was so cool. I wanted one.
I also
of those.
didn't like Star Wars though, so
Didn't you? See, I was a Star Wars kid. I think it was a perfect time though. Like in my life, like I was 7 years old, so it was like perfect brainwashing. Perfect.
you know I saw Spaceballs first, so it ruined Star Wars for me because I
Oh,
always
did it?
liked
Oh,
Spaceballs
bummer.
more.
Oh man.
Baseballs is so great.
Hey, dude, I want to donut. If you're in Phoenix, hey, I want to ask you about that fucking. You know that weird thing in Phoenix that's in the pyramid that's on top of that rock.
Yeah, it's Papago. I go hike there almost every day.
Yeah, dude, I love that hike, but it is so fucking weird. They're
It is
like
weird.
buried in that pyramid on the top of that.
Some
rock.
white dude.
Yeah, you ever noticed that? Like it was.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
It was the
Yeah.
first guy in the family, supposedly.
He was the
It's-
first what?
He was the first governor. Huh? What? Oh, sorry,
Huh?
governor. He was the first governor of
Oh,
Arizona,
Yeah, that's weird.
supposedly.
Yeah.
But
It's a pyramid. Like
yeah, it's a
on the planet.
pyramid. So check this out. I went there with Lindsay Sharman and her boyfriend Johnny. Oh, I'll save this for Johnny thing. But anyway, she saw something. Fucking.
You're in there now. You can't say I'll
Yeah, you
save
can't.
it. That's
Oh,
the
yeah, okay.
worst. You're not
Okay,
allowed to
all right.
partially spill the tea and they'll be like, oh, sorry, I
So
spilled the tea.
I met Johnny and Lindsay up in Phoenix. It was a fucking blast, man. And we met there, and she's like, "Oh, I want to see this fucking pyramid thing." You know, like fuck yeah, I didn't even know it was there. And so we met there, and I fucking lost my car, and it was like this fucking crazy.
I lost my car. Right after somebody says Gordy's such a stoner.
So no, I got locked out. We got locked out because where I parked, we walked to the restaurant, and when we came back, it was locked in that park. You know that parking area in that around that zoo there. I think I parked in the zoo.
Yeah, yeah.
lot. My car got locked in because we came back too late.
Yeah, you must have been after sunset.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
You have to
exactly.
do it
So-
like Frankenstein.
Ah!
How would
I went to
Frankenstein?
dude, I'm telling you, are they flamingos? Those things are monsters. I know they're ready to attack.
Yeah, dude.
They're at the zoo and they are
Oh.
scary.
Flamingos?
I think so. Are they like the birds with
pink.
the long neck with the
Yeah.
pink? Yeah.
Yeah, really?
I swear they wild wicked. Like they're at the zoo and they're plotting to attack everybody.
Aren't those extinct almost?
Probably. They be
Have you guys been chased by an animal in life?
Yep. When
I
was
feel like
fishing as a
animals
kid-
appear like spiritually,
Never.
like different animals.
No.
Like-
A bee.
Yeah. Do you? How you feel? What are you drawn to, Donut?
What is that?
Spirit, like you were talking about the spirit of an animal.
I feel like at different times they show up in a certain spot in your life. Like I'd be freaking out or something, and then I go to my car and there'd be like a bird sitting on the car, and I feel like
Yeah.
it's a sign from God or something.
Yeah.
And when I went to Lahaina in Hawaii, and I was out in the mountains in this like little house, so it was in nature, and every single day a new animal would visit me, and like it was crazy. But I feel like they'd be showing up even spiders or cockroaches and stuff.
The living library. They're there
Yeah.
to teach you something. But
And-
my spirit animal, I just posted this on my Instagram story earlier. My spirit animal is a Ford Mustang.
Mine's a sloth.
I've been
A
driving one
sloth?
all day and it's amazing.
Is it you're drawn to sloth? Like, what are the characteristics that like draw
Sloths are so nice and peaceful that they'll even like, they don't care about the enemy. They're just like, hello, enemy, and eat me. You know, just
I would be okay with the sloths if they didn't have this hand.
yeah, the sloths.
I don't like that hand. It would not be the hand I would pick either as a hand. Like if I had to replace the limb, I wouldn't get the hook. And so sloths could be okay, but if like I were to hold a sloth and that hook were touching my back and sliding around, I'd just be like, take your sloth back. I
Could
don't
you
want to
just
hold
get
it.
the sloths like Nails did, so that it just looks like
Yeah.
like the
I'm
Slay.
feeling
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Oh,
did
that's
you
so
told me.
funny.
You
Yeah,
feel the
what they
same
did
about
there.
chameleons then, Cheney?
I like the one in the boat,
Yeah,
like
I don't
hanging
want
out, like
lizards on me.
dragging his claws in the water, just hanging out, just looking like, this is fun.
The bird dragon appeals to me because I always was like, I don't really want to
Birds, not
sit
dragons.
on dragon back.
Falcor.
Oh,
Also
I would
dragons.
rather sit on a dragon back over that pimple back that Falcor had. At
Really?
that,
Yeah,
even
that
when I
grossed
was
me
a
out, the little
kid, I
blisters.
was like, "What are these egg carton back? Get that out of here!"
Yeah, it made
Falcor
me
had a
feel sick.
pimple back.
I think it
Yeah,
was
I'm
scales underneath the fur, but it looked like
gonna look at
bubbly,
it.
blistery things. It looked
Is he on
gross.
steroids? Is that what's going on?
Oh, even looking at it now, I'm disgusted.
So okay.
It was gross.
It's fucking gross. We're
Do
gonna
you
get into this
think-
right now.
Oh, okay. We're getting into something. I'll come back to what I
Real
was gonna
quick,
say.
real quick, and then we're
No.
gonna go back to it because this
God.
is
We
a
good.
monster. And I am disgusted.
Oh, this thing's
His
freaky.
nose
I
freaked me out.
love him. Stop.
Look at
Falcor?
his back. I'm not getting on that corn
I'm
cob.
getting on that neck.
How did his?
And she's sitting there
Falcor.
like trying to get his take vials of his blood so she could eat it or something. Do you remember that?
What?
Yeah, it's like based off of like the Queen or something. That's
That
what I heard.
costume is pretty brilliant.
Well, they just found his head in some storage unit that was like up for auction.
Yeah, I'm not into him at all. I'm not. I would not like
love
him
him.
as my animal of choice.
I love him.
Like,
Maybe because it's like a childhood thing for
what did you-
me. And
He's
like,
a luck dragon though. He was good
He
luck.
was the childhood thing for me too. Pretty much after the horse died, I was like, I can't go on. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, look at this is what I picture. Look at that.
R2.
Have you
Aw.
seen the movie Trolls 2?
Oh my god.
No.
Those movies are so good.
Trolls 2 though.
I think I have. It's been a while. I
Trolls-
was obsessed with them.
Trolls well,
Different story, right?
Trolls 2 is a different
It's
story.
very
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah.
No,
right?
it's
No?
a horror film. It's called Trolls
Really?
2. It's like rated one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Really?
And there's
I
no
like the worst
Trolls 1.
movies.
There's no Trolls 1. It's just Trolls 2. They just came out with
Okay,
Trolls
so
2.
it is just Trolls 2. Is that the one where they live in the apartment complex and like
They go on a vacation to this place. It's so terrible, but it's a must see.
and then like the lady has the weird like mushroom thing living at the one lady in her apartment?
I think so.
Yeah, it was the most bizarre movie. So I thought there was two, but apparently there was just one. But I've seen it, and I loved it though. It was one of those weird, scary movies.
Guys, we're monsters. We eat animals. We step on ants like we don't give a shit. We
Like
step
giants?
on bugs
Yeah, I love
like we
those
don't give a
eating
shit.
animals.
We're fucking monsters to somebody or some kind of being. And that's a hard reality to kind of face sometimes. I feel guilty sometimes. like all the meat that we eat, all the animals that we kill because we think that we're supposed to eat them. Maybe we are, but I don't really know. Maybe we're not supposed to. But then again, that's a different topic. But yeah, we're
No, for sure.
monsters.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, do you feel
I'm a
bad if
wild
your immune
animal.
system like kills something?
I mean, we have all these type of things that we can eat to survive instead of killing
And we're also
flesh.
monsters to ourselves.
Did we do something to ourselves, as being children or babies, and then programming ourselves to eat meat because we were forced to eat meat and it conditioned our insides to like kind of take that in? Like, I
Could
don't
be.
know. That could be a possibility. So if I started, I wouldn't say a plant eater, but like proteins, different types of, okay, cheeses, milks, whatever, but like flesh and rotting in your system, like as it passes through, does it like sound
But the thing is
right?
that your body handles eating flesh better than it does the milks and cheeses. The milks and cheeses are so much harder on anyone's stomach and gut than the actual protein itself.
Yeah, it takes it in.
And
But
nature is just like
yeah, what if the
evil
nature of our
too.
body is just to take it in because it's going in through our digestive system and it's gonna deteriorate it anyway? What if our bodies are reacting to the stuff that we're eating and we don't even know really? That's why people are
Well,
allergic to so many
I
things and they're not
guarantee it
healthy.
is, because if you start eliminating food that you eat and just eat a clean diet, like my bodybuilding diet, I eat the same foods, 6 meals a day pretty much. So then when I add something back, I can tell immediately if I have a reaction to it. I ate potatoes my whole life, and then now I have an issue with potatoes. And it's not because I have an issue with potatoes now. It's because I had one my whole life. I
Mhm.
just was not immune. I
Aware.
was used to my body feeling inflamed all the time.
Mm.
I wasn't used to what it felt like to not be inflamed. So I had a friend who just did the same thing. She's a power lifter. She's been eating on her meal plan for months, and all of a sudden she just ate gluten like wheat for the first time. She got super sick. She's like, I think I developed a gluten allergy. I was like, no, you've always had one. You just now feel it because you've had exposure to it your whole life. So elimination is a big thing, but I can tell you, like, eliminating red meat, I can go back to eating red meat, no problem. Dairy, that's probably an issue, but it's
What if
funny,
we're
like,
supposed to
I,
tiger and not
I,
deer? What
I
if we're
like that
just
you.
I
supposed
think
to
so. I think,
tiger?
Are you drinking a monster drink on purpose? Because monster.
yes, I am.
That's hilarious.
That's
Normally I'd
perfect.
be doing coffee, so
Everything
I'm
matters.
drinking
product placement.
Nespresso, and I heard that Nestle is like evil corporation, but
It's good though,
it's
isn't
good
it?
though.
I
Yeah.
feel like somewhere in the food chain,
Isn't
something's a
this demonic
psyop.
too? This is like
Six six six.
666.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
in Hebrew. 666 in
What
Hebrew.
when Hillary was talking about Spaceballs earlier, or Gordy was saying Star Wars, if we lived in this galactic world of all of this different species, would all of them, like I was thinking, oh, is Jabba the Hutt a monster? Well, no, we'd be the monster to Jabba the Hutt's planet. So it's like, is a monster just something different than you in the flesh? So are all aliens monsters?
Yeah, like the stormtroopers, they had to go back to their families. They were just working.
They were just working clones.
They were building. Were they just clones?
I think the stormtroopers were just clones.
Oh,
Are clones monsters?
Can a monster be the size of a bug?
Yeah.
And do you think that a
It's called a
Frankenstein,
mosquito.
like a bunch of parts from different people, actually happened? Like putting parts of different beings together to make a being come alive?
If you're vaccinated, you have other people's DNA in you. I mean, not just mRNA, just any of them.
Like
Is that
anybody,
chimera?
yeah.
but we're like,
Chimera.
but like
Or
the
sex.
we're monsters to ourselves too. Like the way that our 70,000 thoughts a day, like mine, I'm so mean. I'm so mean to myself in my head. And so, like, most recently, I've been trying to be like, okay, I talk shit about myself every single day on this one topic, this topic, this topic. And so I'm trying to become more aware of that.
Yeah, don't punish yourself. Don't do that.
Because
no fun.
Don't punish yourself.
everyone does it though,
Everybody-
and that's
Yeah.
it's sad
Yeah.
because especially like that's what I noticed. With the physical body, people do it to their body all the time, like so unhappy with their body, and most people have never been happy with their body, and they can look pretty damn good, but it's like you just sit in the mirror and you just like,
I'm
God, I
such
look
a
like shit.
monster.
Yeah, I look horrible. Like,
I'm a
oh
monster.
my gosh, this is so big. This is so small. I'm so fat. And it's like you're hurting your own feelings, even if you don't think you are. Like your subconscious is taking that all in, and it's just self-hatred. Well, obviously, but I mean, you're hurting yourself on a deeper level than you even know by saying those things.
Yeah, and the society is programming us that way too, with the billboards and like the simulacrum of us having to imitate what we see of these standards that are unrealistic
And
to
yeah.
imitate that. And so it's all designed to make you feel
And
like,
how lucky are you to have this awesome vessel that's holding you, giving you an anchor on this realm, and that works pretty damn good or works really well. How lucky are you? And we sit and pick apart all the bad things or the things that we perceive to be bad that somebody tells us is bad.
You know how you train a dog, right? You take its or an animal, like you take its natural tendencies, its natural characteristics. Like you observe the animal and you adjust to the animal's nature, right? And that's how you learn. And then you can kind of manipulate the dog's like pointer, like a pointer dog. Like those dogs are trained so well. It's a just beautiful thing. But all those things are like in their nature. They've just been accented and trained to use their natural instincts, right? And so we use them as a tool. And that kind of thing, like that you're talking about, this tool that we're just programmed to hate ourselves, like that they know that works. So like this is how you know all the MK Ultra shit is true and it's happening to you. It's like because it's happening like on the microscopic and the macroscopic, like as below, so below him, has within, so without that too. Like all this shit. Like that's the thing is how we get away from being our own fucking monsters of hating on ourselves,
yeah, and it's all about forgiving ourselves too,
right?
because like the guilt doesn't serve anything.
Is guilt real?
It's
Doesn't that feel like one of the
Yeah.
biggest things that the
Game.
whatever the game is gave to us, this like false idea of guilt? And so much of your healing is overcoming this trauma of guilt and what you did say or didn't say or did do or didn't do or where
Or
you
should have
showed up or
done.
where you didn't show up. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
this constant, or what you eat or what you don't eat, or it's like, what is guilt if
I
you're
heard that-
really riding on your authenticity?
I heard that guilt's not even in the scriptures because there's no room for it.
Well, because this is the issue. The scriptures talks about sin, okay? And sin is obviously missing the mark, but I love the topic of guilt because reality transurfing like taught me how to get rid of it.
What did the
Reality Transurfing, it's a book by Vadim Zealand, and it's basically just a philosophy. It's natural law. But basically he goes into the fact that you don't get punished for your sin. Human animals are the only animals that fucking feel guilt. Like we sit there, not only will we punish ourselves for something one time, we'll punish ourselves by repeating it in our head thousands of times, and we won't forgive ourselves. So it's ongoing. And then other people will punish us too. So we have layer upon layer upon layer of guilt. And the funny thing is like, it's really just designed like, so God doesn't punish us. God does not punish sin. He doesn't have to, because natural law says when there's excess potential, nature will balance it. So if I feel guilt, that's a lot of potential, right? Because I'm like, oh, so I'm just pulling guilt into me. I'm pulling punishment to myself because I've decided I deserve it, because I've given myself like thousands of layers of, repeating the memory and how guilty I should feel, and everyone telling me how guilty I should feel. So I attract my own punishment. It's
Yeah.
not God. So sin, like guilt, really. So when I learned that, it taught me that I don't have to fucking do that. I don't have to play any of those games. So if I feel like I'm going to do something that I might feel guilty about, I just don't do it.
And the best medicine is laughing at the situation, looking back and laughing at like.
And nobody's allowed to make you feel guilty, period.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to put it on me, then that's a you issue, buddy.
You're also rewriting the story every time you tell it to yourself and add a little more guilt or a little more seediness or a little more feeling that. And then, you keep writing this darker version of the story. And I swear, this is something I've realized across the board at my age with parents and vice versa, having people my age with kids now. When you ask a child or when you ask your parent, if you could apologize, or did you ever feel bad about one thing that you said to me that you were like, I regretted the second it came out of my mouth and I thought it was going to affect you forever. The thing your parent tells you, you will not fucking remember. But the thing that's haunted you forever, they won't remember. It is so weird.
They have
I don't even blame them anymore for it, because it's across the board, and they will apologize for something that they were like, I felt so bad that one day I told you looked chubby in that skirt, and I'm like, what? I don't even remember that. It's like the one thing that ate at them for the last 20 years that they wanted to apologize about. You're like, what? I have no.
Yeah, it's a true story.
So it's like that guilt is it's a
motherfucker.
Yeah.
So what if you just decide not to believe in it anymore and let it go? Exactly.
Can it be good though? Like if you were a rough person and you were like, pushing down old ladies and stealing their purses, like in a comical 1960s cartoon kind of way. But if you turned around and it was, or like, people that go through NA or AA and they feel true guilt about the way that they treated their friends and family, I feel like that might be like a good version of guilt, because if you didn't have that, that's almost makes you like a sociopath.
Right. And there is a level of that. You have to disconnect to a point where it is almost at that level, but it's not, because everybody feels guilt. But if you feel guilt, then that should be your catalyst to change something, not to keep punishing yourself.
Yeah, and it doesn't change anything. Guilt, like feeling guilty, because I'm in recovery, so like feeling guilty isn't going to do anything for the people I've harmed or stepped on in my life. So if I'm like, oh, I'm the worst person, I'm not. It's like, forgive myself. There's the Lord's Prayer, which is fantastic. Forgive others as I want to forgive them, because I've stepped on my fellows and I want them to forgive me, right? So I got to forgive them too. And this forgiveness is huge to becoming lighter in recovery. I'm not sure how normal people feel, but that guilt, it doesn't serve anything. It's maybe the lack of empathy that it is the case, not so much the guilt. So like pushing over the old lady, having empathy for the old lady instead of guilt, maybe would be better. But I don't really know. Maybe it's like the same thing. But the whole society is all fucked up because everybody's on certain mind-altering chemicals that when you should feel guilt or shame or something like that, you bury it, but it's going to come up eventually and it's going to be expressed eventually. And that's what these horror movies are for, is so we can have the cathartic purge. Or a football game. Football is the #1 television show in the world, and it's violence, and because the society that we live in is violent, and they suppressed it through the super ego. So they have to show up. I'm a good person. I'm not gonna, and the id in the death drive of destruction. So now we want to destroy ourselves or go through pleasure. And it's like they coexist with one another in the id, according to Freud. And then that gets transformed, like the discontent, the malaise of discomfort. So I'm so discomfort in my skin. I feel so much guilt. So I'm going to just do more drugs so I can cover that malaise that the doctor prescribed. So I'm not doing anything wrong. The doctor prescribed it to me. And
there, dude. I was there.
And then that gets turned into frustration, where it gets projected outwards, and then they give us movements. You could put a little flag up on your screen. You can join the Green Party with Greta, and they'll give you these movements. So it's very interesting. I'm studying it right now, but I don't know if that made any sense. I'm still learning about it.
Yeah, I have a really good point to add to this. It's the expectations all these people are setting, whether it's your parents, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's your husband, wife, school, society, whatever, work. It's all these expectations that if you don't meet them, you'll feel like this guilt. And if you got it makes you want to do things, take action. Because if you don't do it, you're going to feel guilty and it's going to hurt the other person, or you're going to look some type of way. It's just like what is it really? Is that's what I'm saying? Is it like a copycat mentality? Is that where our free will is being cut off because our guilt? Oh, I can't act because, maybe they'll feel. It's like, it's a tough one to bite, because that guilt will make people feel a certain way and so low about themselves. So they try to cover up that feeling by substances or whatever, sex or whatever that pleasure is. Everything is
retarding your authenticity.
Yeah, it's just so.
Well, that would be a great name for a book.
Yeah.
That is your book, Donut. You can steal that when you're sitting on your yacht one day.
You said it. It's recorded.
You can give the super sticker to the secret society of good guys.
We're gonna have a secret society meeting on Donut's yacht.
So if everyone could just like worry about being their authentic selves and stop judging within and be authentic, that vibration of authenticity is going to rub off on everyone another. And then there's no need to have expectations, because everyone's just trying to be authentic and people can feel that authenticity. So I don't know. It
goes into the whole monster thing too, because the narcissism is the person who has killed themselves completely and totally. And we live in a narcissistic culture because they cut off the authenticity of the individual self, which is the emotional self. So like our emotions is who makes us. And society says, don't be emotional, take these, pills and be like neutral when life's not neutral. Life is a pulse, beep, 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 like the beep, 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 or whatever, like ups and downs, peaks and valleys. And the narcissist has killed themselves because they've killed their emotions to survive the toxic parents. So they put a mask on their face, just like Halloween's the mask, right? Or also what down the last few years as well, the mask on the face of a character for power in society, but they have no true identity of feelings. Whatever they do, they transform for power in society, and that's the authenticity and what not being cut off.
You know how I see it though? You have the power though. We forget that we have to sit in our driver's seat and control ourself, because when you're facing a situation that's, oh my God, sad, or anger, or whatever the case may be, that energy, that feeling, that emotion sits in the driver's seat. And that's fear talking, that's sadness talking, that's excitement talking. It's all these personas or feelings, if you want to call them, that will sit in the driver's seat of you instead of you being in the driver's seat and controlling the outcome. But if you want to laugh, you can laugh. If you want to be happy, you let happy sit in the driver's seat. If you want to be sad, yeah, you let sadness sit in the driver's seat, but you're letting it. You have to be the controller of not being that monster sitting in the driver's seat. You're like, excuse me, I'm the CEO of this temple. You get your ass over there. Like,
Feel
that's
it,
your
don't
seat
be
over there.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the difference. Like people don't realize when they're feeling emotions that they become the emotion. They'll say, I'm sad, I'm angry. Well, when you do that, you actually do become the embodiment of that emotion. You're supposed to feel it because it's energy and motion, and you're supposed to let it go. So the best way to do that is to not identify as it, but say, I feel sad. I feel angry. Because you're allowed to actually, I can be pissed off and like laugh at the same time. I can feel both things at the same time. I can find something humorous and funny and be pissed at the same exact moment. You know, you could be sad and happy at the same time. It's called feeling bittersweet. You know, you're allowed to have both of those. So a part of me feels this. Part of me feels sad. Part of me feels happy. It's okay. You can hold space for both of them, but it's better to feel it and allow it to move through you instead of becoming it. Because when you become it, that's when you get lost in it and you can't deal with your emotions.
Do you, ladies, men, do you have a time like in your whatever your cycle may be, monthly, yearly, that you know about yourself, that whether it's seasonal depression or your period, that you're like, I'm a monster, that you know this about yourself during this period of time?
Winter time for me, I'm depressed mode. But that's when I'm in that season when I feel it a lot. It's weird. Here in Florida, I haven't gotten what's that called? Winter depression or seasonal
Seasonal
depression? Yeah.
Affective
Anyway,
disorder.
every winter I fall into a deep depression in New York City. Ever since I moved out here, sunny Florida, baby. I love it. I love it here. Yeah, that's what I
I
noticed.
get like that every month. Every month, like I don't know, it's like a monthly thing for me. That's like a period, or I might be bipolar. I don't know, but I go through like I'm a Pisces, so I'll be on fire,
Hey,
happy.
Pisces.
Are you a Pisces?
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to all the Pisces.
Hey.
I feel so positive and on fire and like manic. It's like I have manic episodes where I'm like, I'm gonna post and go live, and then I'm like, I suck. I hate the world. I'm not gonna post anything, and I can't even get words out of my mouth at times too. I think I'm go through this. You know anything about being burnt out?
Yes.
That's what I've been researching.
Oh
is
yeah.
being burnt out.
I truly wonder if men actually go through moon phases. But is it opposite from the women, how women feel it?
I think so. Like I feel the moon. Like I walk in the
You know, like
desert.
emotionally?
Yeah, you can feel it's like heavy.
Yeah.
Like you get more emotional or something. Shit
Yeah.
starts coming up and during full moons and stuff. I
Yeah.
get really tired too.
My energy cycles through the moon, and the energy has to come out. So I have phases where I'm like, really, I have to work out to get it out. I have to work out to get it out. And then I have
Yeah.
a phase where I have to cry to get it out. I have to cry to get it out. And then I have a prowly phase where I'm like, maybe we'll have sex to get it out. Maybe we'll have sex to get it out. And then I feel fighty. And during that time where I'm like contrarian and just like where I feel that the hackles on my back, that is when it like I lose. This is when I'm a troll online and I lose strangers and I get in fights and I laugh to myself about things that I'm like, this couldn't be any funnier to me because I exist so much in the real world that world on there, like on the box, and like, I'm gonna do this thing to you digitally is like, okay. Like, okay. But that it's like I definitely go through these phases where I'm like, where I think it's almost best for the people in my real life to stay away from me.
Yeah. Like, don't talk to me.
Yeah, it's just best.
I'm a cunt.
Yeah.
I will snap. Leave me alone.
It's
and it's
easy
not
for
your
me
fault.
to say now
Yeah.
to people too, where I'm like, it's not you. I shouldn't
Yeah,
be
trust
around
me.
anyone.
Yeah.
I have no words is usually
Have
what I
you
say.
gone to anger management? I used to go to anger management.
It's not
believe it or
even
not.
that. It's
That's what
like
I'm
it's something that you can't really explain to men. It's like so overwhelmingly. It's like a depression that you could have for in 1 month, in 1 day or 2 days of like, oh my God, I can't fucking stand everybody.
You could grab
Shut
another
the-
woman by her
Uh-huh.
collar, for real. You could grab another woman by her collar and put your nose to her nose and stare her right in the eyes and say, I can't help it. I have the fire of Hades inside me right now. And another
Yeah.
woman will be like, feel you.
Yeah.
Like that will be like a real honest, like she won't be like, get your fucking hands off me. She'll just be like,
She'll
fella.
understand.
We're in the
like,
same
yeah.
era, girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like sometimes you're
Hillary.
like, and then you have your period and you're like, you really, you're like, I'm not a monster. Like I'm normal. I feel normal today.
I feel like I could rip a small child's face off and wear it.
Yeah.
Hey,
She's a
it's-
fucking
it's-
monster. I'm
it's
sorry.
Weird how like girls, it's like the poles thing of the universe, how all the girls they hang out and then they all get the period at the same time, like shows there's this symbiotic relationship with everybody.
It's,
Or
Or is that a myth?
no.
A blood oath. It's how a coven makes a blood oath.
I
We can
heard that
make
like
one.
in some country, I don't know, the voodoo stuff, I think in New Orleans they put period blood in the soup and then they put the guys under a spell.
Well, not just in voodoo, but in the Balkans they do that. It's like a type of love magic spell, but that should, if you ever do that with blood magic, you're getting something back to you tenfold, and it's not good. Because love is something you don't play with. That's like a high frequency. Authenticity, love, like love is right there. You don't play with that type of magic. If you're gonna do, they say, if you're ever gonna do blood magic, you do it for yourself, like for your skin, because it has stem cells in it. That's where life is born. It has so many nutrients. The tree of life. That's the symbol, like literally in.
So what? Blood itself is
not blood. The period blood sac. That's the
Oh.
tree of life. That literally is the tree of life. Like the placenta, the uterus, the whatever. Well, the uterus, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The uterus. Well, the uterus holds a child, and then the placenta is formed around the child in the uterus. So the
I was
tree of
thinking
life
of the
is
vampire
formed.
facial.
Yeah, I was
That's-
thinking that,
that
too.
too, yeah.
And I was wondering, like, if I floss my teeth and there's a bunch of blood, if I could do like some blood magic.
It's very it's very healing. If there's a cut on your skin or something or a burn, they say you put period blood and it'll heal it faster and
Are you
more
serious? Wow.
without scarring.
Really?
Oh yeah.
There
That's
is, I know
interesting.
there's a huge thing with breast milk. Where
I
like
know there's something with pee too, like you pee on certain things, like fungus or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well-
in the Navy, they told you to pee on your feet in the shower, and when you're like showering with 40 women and 8 shower heads, you kind of like gross.
that's why they tell
And-
you to wipe backward.
And there's gold in our
It
poop.
prevents the.
You guys know
acid
that?
stuff.
Yeah,
There's
tell
gold
you-
in our poop.
Yeah.
Gold?
This
Gold
is
in our
a
poop.
big thing, just so you
There's-
know.
Oh,
I gotta
We
hear
collect
about
all
this.
your shit.
I know
have to-
about whale
have to
poop.
take
It's like
this
The,
opportunity.
the Secret Society of Good Guys is AKA Gordy. What else is it called?
Which one?
The
Sorry.
Golden Shit Club.
Oh, yeah, see,
Are you serious?
I have to take this opportunity to imitate the greatest lisp in the business. Boris Karl. And tell you, I don't remember where I was going with this, but I'm
The Golden Shit Club.
Yeah, that's
the
it.
Golden Shit Club.
That's it. Go back.
I know incense was made out of like camel shit for a while.
Camel shit and infants.
Really?
That's what I
Yeah,
think.
this is
there's
nothing.
some other weird
compared
shit
to the
facts like
Golden
that, and it
Shit
smells
Club.
really good, I think. And I was like, what the fuck?
You got the raspberry flavoring is beaver shit.
That was
Oh,
it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Don't
Is it
tell me that.
vanilla? It's artificial vanilla,
Is it
right?
vanilla?
Oh fuck!
I
Huh.
thought it was
And
raspberry,
most
but I
most
don't
I
know.
love
colognes
raspberry
and perfumes have the whale shit in it.
The oh
It's
my
worth a lot of
gosh, this
money.
is like Summer's territory. The the
Jamie, your cat is like making me laugh right now because your eyes like look perfect.
I got some stuff on here.
the what is it? There's like that yellow sac of the whale that is actually used in all the perfume around the world, and it's like one of the most expensive liquids.
Yeah, it's their poop.
Ambergris, isn't it? It's the shit in the head.
Puke. Is it their puke
No,
or
it's
their
Yeah.
poop?
It's their
I think
shit.
It's a
I thought it was. Puke.
I think there's something in the ocean that's puke. Now I have to. I'm like, why isn't
I
Summer
got
in
the
this
link for
shot?
you. I'm gonna send you the link right now.
Is it vomit?
Is it
Yeah, I think it is
sperm
vomit.
whale?
I think it is
Sperm
whale
whale vomit.
Sperm whale vomit. Yeah.
That's just what I hear in my head.
Oh,
Or
for
whale
real?
poop is worth a
I
lot of
heard
money.
it.
Maybe they're two separate things.
Yeah,
Do you
maybe
know?
that is.
I can't believe the whale is even coming up on our timeline, but apparently it's super illegal. The guy who wanted to fight for freedom of whales, to free the whales and save the whales, well, apparently he learned how to talk to whales and communicate with them, and somehow that turned into it becoming illegal to communicate with the whales. And that
Oh
if you
yeah.
yeah, and if you communicate with the whales, you will get heavily fined. It's like super duper illegal
Because they could bring you to Atlantis.
or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Something.
You can't communicate with the dolphins either.
Uh-huh. And
'Cause
it's like
they
a
could-
serious offense.
Because people be riding them down to Atlantis.
Do you think that's true?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you Okay, so do you think you
Sperm
could like
whale shit.
live there or like mermaid style?
I just think that
Would you
like
die?
they know where to go. And so like you can get like a lion and become homies with the lion, like, you know, for a little bit. Maybe that lion turn lion, but like animals, we can imprint them in a sense too, where they think that we're its mother or whatever. So we can communicate with them. Like this lady has this owl, you know, and she'd be chilling with the owl all the time, which is pretty cool. But like if you become friends with a dolphin, and they were doing these dolphin experiments with LSD and like jerking the dolphin off or whatever, so they can communicate with aliens in the ocean. And when they ended the experiment just in their head, when John C. Lilly ended the dolphin experiment, just in his head, the dolphins committed suicide by not eating anymore. So there's this like very strong connection. So if you become friends with a dolphin and you're like, yo, bring me to Atlantis, or bring me, maybe not Atlantis, but maybe like show me something in the ocean, because we don't know
Show me
what's in the
magic.
ocean.
Dolphins like, "Yeah,
Ocean.
jerk me off a couple more times,
Yeah.
and then maybe we'll
And
go.
then
to
I'll show
Atlantis."
you what's up. Yeah.
The ocean is space. That's what I think, honestly. The
What do you
space
guys
is
think-
Ocean. Ocean is
But
space.
you know how
Ocean
go
is
ahead.
space. Yeah.
What were you
I
going to
believe
say,
that.
Abby?
I'm saying to tie it all back into monsters, like what do you guys think about Leviathan?
I know that there's that
Because that's
Leviathan-
biblical.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, but I know
Say it.
like I think Paranoid American taught me the Leviathan crosses the 8-11. So it's like an 8 and a 1 and 1. And on that date, there's always stuff that goes down. I even think that 8 Mile was released on 8/11, but like November 8th or 8/11 is like the 303 day, and that's like the zip code to 8 Mile. I don't know. Well, I don't know what Leviathan is. I know Hellraiser has like the cube. Is that
Eminem
it?
is
Oh,
a
yeah.
33.
Yeah,
Leviathan.
Eminem.
Yeah, it's a 33, like a world war.
Happy birthday to Eminem.
Is that today?
Is it today? Really?
It was on the 17th. It's my sister's birthday
Oh.
that day. That's
Oh,
why I
funny.
know.
Little Libra, M on both sides. So
Isn't M13?
oh wait, how do I?
Well, like the M is like a 3
It's a
sideways.
3
Oh,
just on its
33.
side.
I'm like
W.
thinking numerically.
Oh, wait, how do I get this big? I feel
Like
like my
Mickey
mom
Mouse?
using this sometimes. She's
What
not
is
that kind of person.
Leviathan?
It's brought
Yes,
up in the
go into
Bible.
it.
So
Yep.
it's supposed to just be in the depths of the ocean, and it's supposed to be it's a monster of some sort.
It's a worm.
So then I'm like, is it a kraken? Is it the kraken? Is it a worm?
Wormholes. Worm.
It does look very wormy.
Interesting.
There
That's
was
in the Bible.
also mythology of Scylla and Charybdis, which I think might have been precursors to Leviathan. But they basically guarded different areas of the ocean to prevent people from getting through if they weren't supposed to.
Ooh.
Apparently in Florida, somebody caught a sea creature. I don't know if it's a real video or not, but it looked like a snaky, long, serpenty creature in the ocean or the Gulf. I posted in the chat, but I don't know if you guys can see that thing right there.
Oh wait, you posted in the chat.
Yeah. Very interesting. I don't know what it is, but it's a long, and it's swimming there, swimming with the fishes. Could be. I mean, we saw those videos of, those dragons supposedly flying in the sky in China and like blasting that whole building with a fireball, Dragon Ball Z style. So I don't know. I ask questions. Do I believe anything? Not really. I observe, take it in, cool, ha ha ha, cool. But to believe, I don't know, unless I see it with my own eyes. I question.
There's this long oarfish that shows up. That's
No,
like this long snake-looking fish, and when it shows up, earthquakes start happening.
Oh, weird.
is that an
Yeah.
oarfish then? What?
Maybe it could
Could
be.
be.
I dropped the link.
They show like the Museum of Natural History and like right outside right by the La Brea tar pits in LA. They have like a bunch of oarfish in formaldehyde. It's kind of neat.
Tar pits.
Yeah, the La Brea.
The La Brea tar pits were created by Sinclair Oil to get people to believe in dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Oh, for real? Tell me about that.
Speaking of monsters, they're Sinclair, the same company that has oil on it. If you look up into all the like BP, Sinclair, all the big oil tycoons of the time, they're not only the ones that like back the La Brea tar pits, and they're all the backers of all the real great digs that people are like, we found bones here. This is where dinosaurs are at. But it's all just adding to the myth of fossil fuels and scarcity.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's. I want to connect with you because I really want to put together our dinosaurs fake video.
Okay, are they fake and gay?
Yeah,
I'm in.
I really want to dive into that because I don't believe in dinosaurs.
Hey, my nephew is a dinosaur guy. He's an amateur fossil hunter.
Oh, we should bring
Puts
him
them
on
together
too.
professionally.
Yeah, so he believes in
We talked
dinosaurs
about-
probably, but he has to though because it's like he's gonna get paid.
Here's
He has
that
an interesting point,
oarfish
though.
thing. I don't want to cut you off, but it might cut you off, Gordy. This
Can you
is the fish. Yeah, you can talk over it.
Yeah, that oarfish is a trip, man.
And it shows up like right before Fukushima happened, like
Uh-huh.
so it brings disasters. Like it knows something. I don't know. I don't understand it.
That
That's a
is wild.
fish.
That is a monster.
That's a monster. I'm telling you, the ocean is it's the shoal.
Ugh, I don't
It's
want to watch
the
this horrible
void. It's
commercial.
the deep. It's the deep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely.
man.
You know how
it.
they say ladies and dolphins are like Delphi because it's all womb, and women used to all walk in the water and have their babies in the water, and the dolphin would help them have painless birth. So, and like kind of what you're saying, imagine if the baby was meeting the dolphin when it still didn't need to breathe air. it would be still connected by so much more. It'd still be in its spirit self. Would it learn something in that time, like you're saying? Would it get almost a dolphin rider that it could ride to Atlantis?
Well, I just looked up, not to change subjects, but
Yeah.
with the Sinclair, I looked it up, and it was founded the day the Illuminati was founded on May 1st.
Wow. Of course.
It's just
Mayday.
a coincidence. Come on.
Go figure.
So
It's
was
just a
Malaysian Airlines
coincidence.
was too. Malaysia Airlines that went missing.
Do you think that was like abducted by aliens? That 37 whatever blah, or do you think it's just more for now for Bluebeam to build this like idea on top of like, oh, like they're gonna tell us at disclosure this flight was taken out of the air by aliens.
Or what if
Right.
reality is a mirror and the quantum of it all, everybody watching Donnie Darko caused it to happen?
Right. I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know. I need to see one to even know if they're real.
What, a dinosaur?
UFOs?
No, aliens. An alien.
Oh,
But it also goes into the whole Zanetti train thing, the Zanetti train that disappeared, that went into the tunnel and disappeared and never came out.
are you serious? Zanetti train?
Yeah, look it up.
That's crazy.
It threw a tunnel in Rome and it never came out. And then
That's freaky.
like 40 years later, they came out in Mexico. Like a passenger train with like 40 Italians on it. Or maybe not 40 years, but like in the future, they show up in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
They
I remember
showed
reading
that
about
that
that. That's
train
a
showed
trip.
up in Mexico.
Yeah.
And it had 40 Italian people on it, and they locked them all up in a loony bin. They thought they were all nuts because there's no way they could have came from Italy.
Whoa.
Yeah, there was some other story.
And they had like pictures of like their cigarettes cases and stuff, and literature being written in Italian, like stuff that they had on them.
That's insane. That's crazy.
Was
Like,
soldiers
there's
or
that
something?
Twilight
They were like
Zone
soldiers or
episode.
something too, right?
Hmm?
There were like soldiers on that train, weren't they? Was
Probably.
that story? Another story where some dudes were some soldiers were just like went missing from like a march in a military formation in Italy, and they showed up in Mexico City like 50 years before or after. I can't remember how it went, but like I believe that stuff, man. What? That stuff doesn't float around for no reason. Like weird shit happens. The universe is fucking weird, man.
Bro,
Is it the
this is-
Philadelphia
if we-
experiment that does that? Is that the one where the ship comes back with all the people
Uh-huh.
in it?
yeah, the farm.
Yeah,
yeah.
go on. What were you gonna say, Donut?
Well, there's this Twilight Zone episode where they're in an airplane and then they go back in time. And I just
Mhm.
looked it up, and it's called The Odyssey of Flight 33.
What?
Of
Yeah.
course it is.
That's hilarious.
Thank you, Rod Serling.
Rod Sterling went hard. I'm a fan.
I am a huge fan, dude. I love
I like
tease
it's
on-
like Rod Sterling.
yeah, man.
He was writing that for nonfiction, but he couldn't get the TV deal, so he had to make it fiction.
right. Yeah,
That's
man.
what I heard.
That's what they said. But I mean, he wrote Planet of the Apes. He's the one that.
Oh, did he?
Uh huh.
Huh. That's what I was gonna ask too. Like, does something become like, let's say, Planet of the Apes? Does it eventually become human enough it's no longer a monster?
No, because like,
Wonder.
what about Jeffrey Dahmer? Is that a monster?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so too. So being human doesn't mean you're not a monster.
And the thing with Jeffrey Dahmer is that when he did all those killings, he was under the influence of alcohol. And when he was sober, he was clinically sane.
That seems debatable.
Yeah, it's all debatable for sure.
Maybe it cycled in and out with this month.
Debatable. What else did you guys
Jeffrey
look up?
Dahmer stuff is crazy. And that is called Monster, right? That show on Netflix.
I
Oh,
think it
we-
is. They want us to believe he is a monster. Like
Yeah.
different.
And then like John Wayne Gacy, he like
Or Aileen Wuornos.
Right.
Eileen Wuornos.
She was the
She's that
female
psycho.
serial killer.
Yeah,
They
she's
tried
crazy.
desperately to make a female serial killer. They
Mhm.
wanted one so bad. So they took this like poor girl, she wasn't even really a lesbian, even though she hooks up with a girl. She's really just
Oh, they
traumatized
made
by
a
men her
movie
whole
about
life.
her.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Oh my gosh, Charlize Theron, we can't believe that she's so ugly in this." But really, people should have been like, "Oh my gosh, Charlize Theron's a man."
Oh my god.
And her name looks like yeah, they made that movie about her, right?
Yeah, monster.
And
I have
then
to say it that way with these teeth.
Monster.
Monster.
her name
It is a
Aileen.
monster.
It looks like Alien. Aileen.
Who is your favorite monster? Darn it.
Yeah, but she killed people, but they were like people that raped her or like beat her up. So I'm like, she's not really a serial killer.
Yeah.
She's a mad woman.
Literally.
Monster's a bit harsh.
Did you guys have or remember My Pet Monster?
I remember
Gotta
saying it was a little
refresh my
after me.
memory.
I'm gonna look it up.
It was like a
was like a
blue
plush toy,
stuffed
right?
animal that came with like handcuffs,
Yep.
and it had like a crazy
had-
nose.
Well, Hasbro made it, and then they make the Ouija board.
They made a Ouija board.
Oh my god, I remember this.
Like the
Yeah.
popular one.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
With chains, like the Baphomet.
Oh my
Like
gosh,
on
it
the
does
tarot.
kind of look like the Baphomet, dude.
Like the
Shit.
tarot
Oh,
card,
yeah,
the,
that's
the
it.
devil
This
card.
was like the thing. I guess this was my version of the Cabbage Patch doll. I guess.
That's the devil card right there.
Does it
literally.
look a little? It's so with that green nose. I just feel like
Yeah, why why on the Sesame Street thing too? Why was everything a monster on and they were just
Cookie Monster?
I had
were-
Sesame Street on my list. I think
Did
that's
you?
yeah, I think
the
that's a really
Sesame
good
Street
point.
is like connected to the Rockefellers.
Sesame Street? That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And Tavistock
The Count.
Institute.
Oh yeah. No, you weren't programmed to belong with me.
Big Bird, lowercase 66. I only see BB, or it's an 88. I only see the symbols of letters. I don't count everything in gematria. But not to take away people's gematria magic. But I think
I love
Sesame
gematria.
Street is so creepy. Snuffleupagus, and then you have this like Oscar the Grouch monster. You have a Dracula on there. Cookie Monster.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're
And
but
they push
Jim
like
Henson in
agendas.
general.
The one that ate all the burgers. What was his name?
Burgers?
Was it burgers or
That's
no?
Grimace.
Cookie Monster. You
But
think
Grimace is probably a monster as well.
Yeah,
I-
I
Grimace.
think Ronald
You know,
McDonald's a monster.
Tuesday for
Yeah, are clowns monsters? Because I know everybody's attaching them to Nephilim these days. Do you think clowns are monsters?
Well, Pennywise.
Yeah.
Just in general.
I like clowns.
Do you? Are you that guy or are you the one guy?
I don't
I'm
like.
not scared of
I like
clowns.
circus clowns. I think they're
I
pretty
just like.
interesting.
I like horror movies
They do a good job.
and stuff.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Killer
is
Clowns from Outer Space.
the best
That's
movies ever
great.
made.
Yeah. Where
Killer
they
clown, wow, wow, wow.
It's a hamburger.
The Dickies,
yeah.
man. Come on, that's good stuff.
That's from McDonald's. I think, right? The hamburger.
Killer Clowns.
So is the grimace, but the grimace I thought was a soy strip, which was weird because they always like talked about having all beef patties. But if you ever looked at like the fake, like the soy strips that they used to make fake
That's
meat,
so gross.
that's what the grimace looks like.
I've never heard this before.
Soy strip.
Hmm
Wow.
That is so
Weird.
gross. That just grossed me out like Joe Biden's balls. Chin.
Bulging.
Balchinian.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, weird. Yeah. But hey, you know what? I bet you like It's probably better than a lot of food storage. Not like health wise, but it probably lasts forever. Wait, no, maybe not. I'm not gonna eat it. I'm just saying, like,
What about the Montauk monster?
Well, there's
Montauk.
The
two.
killer?
There's the one that
Killer.
washed up on the beach that might have just been like a raccoon or something. But then you were talking about the Philadelphia experiment. That one also is rumored that on Project Montauk that they might have summoned some huge demon into our realm. This is where Stranger Things comes from. This is the upside down. I can't remember the Gorgon, right? The Gorgon was the actual story from the Montauk Project. I think it was explained by James Nickel Peterson Nichols or something. I can't remember the guy's exact name, but they wrote like 5 or 6 different Peter Moon and Preston Nichols. Those are the names.
Look at these pictures. They're like, you don't even want to see how nasty this thing is. Look at, they block them all.
Really?
Yeah. It's explicit.
It's like a raccoon or something that
Yeah, like I'm
that
scared
got
to
bloated
click
in
on
the
it.
river.
Yeah, here's pictures down at the bottom. I'm like, why
Yeah,
are you
there
making
it
this
is.
so difficult?
You got Gajira, the king of the monsters.
Yeah, look at its face though.
It is pretty gross.
It
Yeah,
does
it's
look like
a beak.
the Stranger Things thing. That
That
yeah.
I think this is a
I've never
different
seen
one.
that.
I'll pull up the other one too.
It
What
reminds
was
me of what's it called? A gargoyle.
Gargoyles are cool.
What about fairies? Like the gnomes, are they monsters?
Yes.
Yes, right?
Yeah, they're demons.
Are they?
So are elves.
Is a changeling a monster?
The
Mm,
demons are demons and monsters
Like a
are
skinwalker?
monsters,
like a skinwalker.
right?
That thing looks like a Venus flytrap.
So what's the difference between a demon and a monster then?
I think they're like both the same in my head, but I know like demon, there's daemon, so like that's
Jinn.
not like an evil thing or something.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know, but like the whole idea of like someone wrote devil, like demons, devils, and all that. Like the devil was first like depicted in art as being purple, and then they changed it to green, and because it was an angel, so an angel doesn't look like a goblin, and so they changed it to scare people. I think it was the Catholic Church or something like that, to this green monster that resembled Pan or something like that. So like I don't know, it's interesting, and like the word demon comes from daemon, and so I don't really know, but I feel like in my head when I think of a demon or something, I'm thinking as a monster. You know what I mean? Like,
So what about jinn and genies?
oh yeah, right. I heard that there's multiple different like goods and bads and stuff
Yeah.
like that. There was that
Like
one movie that was really good about the jinn. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
the one with the lady with the red hair and
Yeah,
the genie in the bottle
yeah, that should make
with
me
the story
cry.
of Solomon. Yeah, it was a good fucking movie.
what one?
Okay.
The lady with the red hair.
With the genie in a bottle. I forgot.
I'm a
1,000 years.
genie in a bottle. You
One-
gotta rub me the right way. Sorry.
1,000 years.
I hope that doesn't get
of
us pulled.
something. I thought it was 1,000 years of
Yeah,
something.
yeah, something like that. Like 1,000. Yeah, it's a good.
1,000
Okay.
years.
It's worth watching.
Okay, here's a
Yeah.
question.
Talks about 5G in there too and
Really?
electro.
If demons are
Electro-
fallen angels,
Yeah.
they should have a body, right? But then why do demons possess people like they're disembodied spirits?
I don't know, but Glenn Beck made this movie about this prisoner who's like a demon. Oh, Paranoid American, you did the read. That's how I knew
Yeah,
about
it
that
was
movie.
nefarious, right?
That shit was tight.
What is it? Thomas?
Nefarious.
Nefarious. It's like
Tell
a
me
new
about it.
movie. This
got
demon.
the-
Yeah,
It's
go
got the
ahead.
guy from Boondock Saints in it, or one of the brothers from
Oh,
Boondock
such a
Saints.
good movie.
And he plays
Oh.
like he's possessed by a demon essentially. Well, although
Oh.
I think it's a little heavy handed. It's got a little bit of like
Is
Daily
it?
Wire swagger to it, because like he's questioning some lawyer that's going to be representing him possibly, but he tells the guy that he's gonna kill 3 people before the time that he leaves the room, but like one of the people that he kills is like his mom that he sends to a retirement home. And then another one is that he has his girlfriend like terminate a pregnancy, so that makes him twice a murderer. And then the last murder is that he condemns this guy to death essentially. But the guy is claiming to be an ancient demon from from biblical times, and that this guy is like falling right into his prophecy. It's a interesting movie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a movie called The Man from Earth, and it's about this guy that's like an English teacher, and he ends up being like Jesus, or who everyone claims to be Jesus, but it's just a normal guy that just happened to live for like 2,000 years. So he's gained all this wisdom, and he's like learned all these things and told people the things that he's learned, and they eventually are like, oh my God, you're Jesus. So that's like the good version of it. Nefarious is like the evil version of that movie.
And then you got Idiocracy, which is sort of the same.
Right.
But Abby brings up a good point. If demons are just fallen angels and they have a body, how and why? That doesn't even make sense for them
I don't
to
think
even
they do
like.
have a body.
They don't?
Because I think angels are ethereal, so they're not grounded out energy. So the thing that makes us have the free will is that we're grounded out. And so angels never ground out. It's why the jinn doesn't have it's like they're fire energy. So they can't ground out either. It's like somewhere the mer energy might be able to. That's why it's calling humans or needs the children, that it's calling into it. But the grounded out energy has full free will.
I want to say shout out to Joel Thomas, because he's got this theory of what he calls Nephilim portal babies. But like the Watchers that mated with humans, right, that created the Nephilim, that might have been sort of like a workaround, a loophole, because they were these ethereal beings that couldn't like actually have free will. But if they created children with humans, then they could use those Nephilim children as their vessels. So it's like angel anchor babies is what I kind of call them. But it's like this loophole with the covenant with God.
I thought you were gonna say shout out to Joel Osteen when he said Joel.
The original Nephilim portal baby.
You know who's a monster? That preacher.
Yeah,
that evil guy
with the helicopters and the airplanes and shit. Yeah, that guy. You could see.
He's a fucking monster.
You could see the demons that coming out of his eyeballs.
Who, like Benny Hinn or something?
Yeah, that's him.
I used to love that man.
Oh, really?
Really?
Wild.
He's passionate. Yeah. Well, maybe he's a good dude. I don't know. I just saw that one video of him, and I was like, that guy.
I saw that one video of him cutting his fucking
I didn't see
and...
those videos first. I listened to him, and when he's actually teaching,
that's good.
Very brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But when he does his whole like cultish whipping people with coats and everything, that's when I was like, oh, okay.
The ritual freaked me out with him slitting his wrist and putting in a cup, and they started passing it around and drinking it like he was the blood of Christ or something.
He always end up being the savior, you know?
I think that name, anytime they have names like that, Benny Hinn, Ben Hinn, no, Benjamin Hingerman.
Well, I think it's like Ben Judah, Ben, you know.
Oh, I don't think it's Benny Hinn. No, I wasn't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Continue. Sorry.
I was thinking that one guy who's just a public speaker and wants to he's really tall and he looks like he's Frankenstein. He looks like a monster to me. He's not religious at all. He just is like Tony.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a prosperity guy.
Tony. He's like
motivational speaker.
Yeah, Tony Robinson. He looks like a fucking monster to me.
Oh, he's like Nephilim.
He's satanic. the guy I was talking about wasn't Benny Hill. It was preacher Kenneth Copeland, and I
Oh
dropped
yeah,
his
Kenneth
video.
Oh.
Dropped
yeah.
his video
Oh,
link.
He's
I'm sharing
isn't
it.
he the farting evangelist?
Yeah, that guy.
Copeland?
Yeah, because
Uh-huh.
Abby, I wouldn't see you liking that guy, the one that we're mentioning right now. This guy.
What's that? Oh yeah.
This
Yeah, I have no
Great.
idea who that is.
Oh, he freaky diggy.
Wait till you get if they get a close up on his eyeballs. I mean, he's
I
He
can
freaks
zoom
out,
in
man.
probably.
Yeah, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. They gotta catch that. Got insanity.
The mighty gemstones. Oh shoot. Yeah, those are dead eyes.
they're powerful eyes.
Oh my god.
That's some reptilian
cleanse
psychopath
the air.
eyes, man. That ain't human.
Yeah, that's that. He got the Sampuco going on.
Yeah.
I smell the sulfur.
Yeah.
It's always
know,
weird, the
ever
sulfur
get that?
smell.
I
You ever
had
get that with
an
people?
instance where I was sleeping dead sleep.
Look at his eyeballs.
Yeah,
and
dude.
the
Yeah.
and the scent of sulfur woke me up like weird. It was so fucking weird. I thought like something was burning in the house, and I'm like, and I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I smell something burning. She's like, say a prayer or something, because you probably were visited or something. I was like, okay.
That's
But,
just that Florida
No,
sprinkler
this was in
water.
New York City. This was in New York City before
Okay.
I moved to
That's
Florida.
just your system getting used to that Florida water.
Oh, what
You need
about
more
the,
softener.
what about the Ninja Turtles? Are they monsters?
No,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
blasphemy.
Dude. Yeah.
Are mutants
Are
not
heroes
monsters?
monsters? Are the X-Men monsters?
Technically they are, but they're
Yes.
cool, awesome monsters.
Well, monster doesn't mean bad, does it? Because dragons don't necessarily mean bad, right?
Well, neither does Bigfoot.
Or
He
like
might
a
actually be
whale.
good.
Monstrosity,
Raphael.
monstrous.
Yeah, Colossus is another word for monster. And
Yeah.
so then I was thinking of like Colossus of Rhodes or the Statue of Liberty or even like the idea of Nephilim. Like, is giant automatically a monster?
Monstrous.
Yeah.
Monstrosity.
Somebody wrote Ninja Turtles are demons.
That's a good title. That would be a viral
Oh, there
video
was
right
something-
there. Ninja Turtle or the Ninja Turtles.
You're starting
I-
some fights on that one.
Their names are
Ninja Turtles
unique.
do love pizza, Hillary.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
And they
that's
do
true.
they
They
are
love
in the underground.
They're
In
good.
tunnels.
Who
They're
only
good,
eat
though.
pizza.
I know they're good because they're ninjas, and the ninja class is usually not this like imperial type Illuminati class. It's more of the common person.
Ninja Turtles in the
Go
sewer.
ninja, go ninja, go.
They're having an underground pizza party all the time. It's like a
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Have you seen Under the Silver Lakes, the movie?
I don't think so.
Fantastic movie. Oh my goodness. It's one of my favorite films. It's really boring in the beginning.
What's it
but
called?
Under the Silver Lakes. It's got Spider-Man in it, the guy who played it, not Tobey Maguire, but the newer version.
Oh, I have seen this weird movie.
Yeah.
It
Wait,
is a
what is it called
weird
again?
movie.
It's called Under the Silver Lakes, and this like stoner dude who's just like trying to get laid all the time and just living life kind of floating around in California. Meets this girl who just disappears, and he's just trying to find where does she go, and she ends up going into like some Illuminati like ascension
Wow.
like cult or something. So while he's trying to find her, he realizes there's a secret society controlling the world of homeless people that are like homeless pirates, and they're speaking in codes through movies and all this stuff. So it gets like really into Illuminati stuff as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it talks about him. Sam is a disenchanted 33-year-old.
33.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and the Silver Lakes is where Hollywood comes from. So like Hollywood started like in the Silver Lakes too. Like so there's a lot of like this Hollywood stuff in it.
I lived in Silver Lake.
You did?
Yes, I lived in Silver Lake for a few years. For
Why is it called
affiliate.
Silver Lake?
There is a reservoir in Silver Lake that it's just a fake reservoir, but it's the Silver Lake. So everything's built around it, and it's kind of on the other side of the canyon a little bit. So it's like it- on one side is like Vermont, and you might see like what's that observatory that was in James Dean?
Griffith Park.
Yeah,
Park,
and then you drive through like a hot dog stand, and then you're like behind a whole little other small little town built in. LA is weird, but Silver Lake. I lived
Yeah,
there.
it
I
is
had a rent
weird.
controlled apartment for a while in Silver Lake.
It must have cost so much money.
Was it
No,
as hipster then?
it was
It
rent
was a
controlled, so it
pre-hipster?
was passed down from like
Sweet.
a friend of mine's older sister, so it just kind of stayed in within friends for like 15 years. So it was like a pretty great apartment. And our landlord didn't give a shit about fixing it. I will be like sometimes I would take a bath and I would be like, I hope this doesn't fall through the floor.
I think there's this conspiracy because I just went to California to see the BLP Kosher Rap concert, and I went there, and it was nothing like the media said it was going to be like. I was like ready for California to just be like the worst place ever. I went to Newport. It was all Merca everywhere, just like all over the place. And I was like, this is California. And then I went, I grew up in Vegas though. So
You're like,
may-
maybe it was
maybe-
bad for them.
maybe it was bad, and I was just used to.
So you grew up in like that surreal. How do people come out of their normal?
You don't.
Yeah. Okay.
You end up
It's
having a
fucking
name
weird,
like
right?
Donut, and then your whole family is ashamed of you.
Hey,
Normal. That's normal at anywhere.
welcome to the Golden Shit Club.
Yeah, welcome to the Golden Shit Club. Here you can polish a turd.
Yep. Here,
Yes, you can.
here we show off our polished turds. Surprise! I'm here.
Vegas is interesting. The Nevada Day, you know how we were talking about that pyramid, but like Nevada Day is on Halloween, and it's like Sin City. and
Weird.
it's like
So
all
weird.
mafia built.
Huh, Fantasy Fest in Key West is around the same time too. And it's just pure
Fantasy Fest.
yeah, it's kind of like Heathensville. It's just naked adults and
Burning Man.
before Burning Man was Burning Man, it was like where grown-ups went to Mardi Gras.
I
Lots of
see.
body paint and vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this new show, House of Usher on Netflix, they like throw a party like that ends really bad.
Yeah.
Like how bad? Like in what way bad?
So it's not about that.
Like-
Usher.
Like
Murder,
every
death, kill.
yeah, it's pretty graphic. Like it's wild. It's a wild show. I'm still
Is
watching
Chili
it.
in it? Is
Chili?
Chili and P. Diddy represented in the House of Usher?
Yeah, P
But it's
Diddy
not about
parties.
Usher.
Yeah, P Diddy had like the parties with Usher when he was underage.
Yeah, and then Justin Bieber as well.
The
P-
B.
He's a
pederastic.
monster.
He's a P. Diddler.
Yeah, he's a.
Oh, Beaver is the Beeves.
No, the Beaver, the Beaver Beebs. He was one of the
He was the
kids
diddly.
that
He was a
came
victim,
up
right?
through P. Diddy and Usher.
When
So
he was
it's
like
like they all
15.
keep getting passed down. Yeah, it's like Usher was there when he was 13. Justin Bieber was there when he was 12. But it's like the P. Diddlers, and Puff means gay in the UK. So
Puff
even
Daddy.
Puff Daddy.
And
Hey,
50
Daddy.
Cent calls him out on his shit too. He's like, I'm not going to his party. You ever been to his parties? I'm not going to his parties. Fuck that.
Yeah, I remember that. And so did Tupac. On Tupac's
Mhm.
album on the back, they had like him in a pink dress.
He killed
And-
his wife.
Tupac did?
No,
Oh,
Diddy.
did he?
Did he?
Remember Diddy? Diddy?
And
Diddy?
J-Lo
Diddy
too?
did it.
P.
Diddy
Diddy
did it.
on first.
And like he was married to J-Lo, and J-Lo is like CIA asset now.
Well, they weren't married, but she was involved with him in that shooting, and then
Yeah.
they split
what
up.
shooting?
There was like
At
a
a club.
shooting in a nightclub. Yeah, and I feel like somebody died and she had to go to court for it. It was like, remember how murder was the case that they gave Snoop Dogg
Right.
and then he got off?
Right.
I feel like that's their Kobe Bryant moment of like their rape scandal, that it was an almost murder where you could have gone to jail, but instead you better play by the Boule rules. So I feel
Yeah.
like
That happened to that one dude, the Republican kid that has the same birthday as Greta Thunberg.
She's a man.
hold on, though, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, I think that happened with him too.
Kyle Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse. It was like the beginning of the Four Horsemen. I was like Rittenhouse. Greta and him. That is
Greta's a dude.
ridiculous.
They have
Greta.
the same birthday, and they're like the two kids that are the polar opposite of the birds that are like controlling the bird, you know.
The two separate narrative. What
Mhm.
about, I know I always think the same thing about Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh. I always think the stern and bow of a boat. So they're the censorship.
Howard Stern is a monster. It's just not exposed yet.
Yeah.
It's through psyops.
He's a billionaire.
Well,
Like, how do you get to billionaire? Billionaire.
Really? Billion?
He was
Yeah,
the original Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I used to listen to that. My mom loved Howard Stern, so I would listen to it going to elementary school every day because it was in the morning.
Me too. I was in love with Howard. He was the first idol I had to slay. And it
Everybody
was
loved
like
him.
heartbreaking. I loved
Yeah,
Howard.
he became
Stern.
all weird.
Do you think it's the same Howard, or do you think it's a different Howard?
He doesn't look the same at all. I stare at side by sides of him, but I just think since Beth O got there, I think she's a high witch, and his hair is like, I'll always pull up pictures of Howard Stern bald just to make myself laugh. But and then Robin's
The
a
one
known
with-
witch. Like,
in the underwear thing, where he's
Yeah,
it's
no,
so
like,
fucking creepy when he's in that bald thing.
or Miss America when he's in a dress, which is very,
So weird.
shame ritual. They
Sus.
like to
Yeah.
put him in a dress.
Yeah, dude.
There used to be shows where Rogan sat in the Artie chair for a long period of time. And I can't find any of these shows right now. It would have to be some old Stern fan that has them on like tapes that put them online one day. Oh, what's that noise? Gordy? Is that
Yeah,
you
sorry,
over
sorry.
there?
Oh, my-
Gordy! Uh,
Your costume is so sick,
Oh,
Gordy.
it's coming out.
oh!
Oh,
yeah.
I
There
miss
used
the-
to be Joe Rogan in the Artie chair, and I remember him getting in a fight with someone in studio, and they were like, "You're a company man. You're a company man," but I can't find it anywhere now.
I remember that. And who is it that was telling him like, you're playing stupid or you play dumb? Who was that? To Rogan on I can't remember. Abby probably remembers. Anyway,
I don't know. I don't know, but yeah.
I can remember I heard it.
I know. I wrote down, it was more so everything I started to dig into. I was like, is this a monster? Is this a monster? Is this a monster? And then I thought, one-eyed monster.
One-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater.
Always back to that, huh?
I mean, that's the first thing that came to mind when I heard one eye.
I know, but then I'm like, why always
It
the
wasn't
one-eyed
penis.
symbolism?
That's right. We talked about
That was the first thing that popped in my head. What's wrong with me?
Penis.
That's the first thing that just
That's the
popped up.
second thing. that came
What's
to my
on
head.
what's on your head, Hillary? That's what I've been wondering. It looks
That's
like,
Hillary.
It's my hair.
It's her hair.
it looks like,
It's
it
her
looks
bob
like
haircut.
It looks like a butt.
Because she is a butt. She's an ass.
It looks like a
It's
butt.
stand
My
up.
little
It's so
earring.
Every time I see Hillary's face, man.
I want to
how
look
you
big.
said- you know how they had that fantasy fest?
I love it.
I can't
beautiful.
even.
Can you get closer to the
Oh my God,
screen?
I love
I
it.
want to really get a look at
There
that.
you go.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, I
There you
see
go.
it now.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a butt the whole time.
The name. It says Hillary right there.
The beard, a little.
My
you know,
my
throws it off,
Adrenochrome
but,
shirt.
You know,
Oh, Oprah is a fucking monster.
Oprah is a
Redacted.
monster.
Thank you, redacted Bigley.
thank you.
Bigley.
Is Ellen a monster?
Ellen's a monster.
Ellen DeGeneres?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
She's-
don't know about that.
She's a hangman. She's a sacrifice. Trust the smart people.
Mm-hmm.
I
Is
wish
Bill
I
Gates
could-
a monster?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Easy monster.
Bill
What a-
Gates.
No, Billy Bob, Billy
Did you
Boy.
guys get into like in your neck of the woods? Because I heard like in the some places you're not supposed to ever turn around if you hear your name, or you don't ever whistle in other places, or like there's the Jersey Devil here, or Yetis in some part,
yeah.
and then Chupacabra over here. And do you guys all have one of these in your neck of the woods?
I came up with one. I made up one in Arizona.
What was it?
It's called like
Let's
ice.
manifest it.
I'm just throwing it out there. Ice ghost. I'm just throwing that out there
Okay.
because when a ghost comes and you get really cold, right? When the ghost or spirits in, you get shivers. Well, in Arizona, before air conditioning, it's so freaking hot here. I mean, it is just unbearable that if you're in the middle of the desert, it's so hot and you get really cold, it'd be like, oh, this is nice, right? But it's like a ghost here, like, oh, you want to be cold in the middle of the desert? Well, you got to do like deal with the devil sorta if you want to stay cold. I just created.
We have, if you whistle at night, you call the devil.
I heard that. I never whistle at night. Where's that from?
Cutting your nails at night.
What? Cutting your nails at night?
Yeah, something about where we're from in the Balkans. There's some weird superstitions.
I don't whistle.
When the
'cause
sun sets, you put the shades down. So, because during that hour or something, like some kind of weird spirit in the twilight, it's
I
like
do
in
that
between.
naturally.
Yeah, they say like shut your shades during that time. Some weird ones. Don't go to sleep if you're having sex with someone. You should take a shower after you have sex before you go to sleep, so you don't have the incubus come and sleep with you.
Oh shit!
It's like that aroma of sex. It's like you're calling it in, and you're not purifying yourself, and you're sleeping in it, and it's just like superstition. I don't know.
In Nevada near Pyramid Lake, it was Pyramid Lake because it's the same. It's all affiliated with the Paiute tribe. There's the Scarecrow Man and the Rabbit Lady. And because the Scarecrow Man would run alongside your car and he'd make white people wreck. So you weren't supposed to if you saw something running alongside your car, you're not supposed to pay attention to it. And then the Rabbit Lady would actually hop a ride. She would hitch a ride and sit in your passenger seat, and the same thing. She'd make you wreck your car.
Oh my goodness!
We have the chupacabras here. They call those, those hairless dogs that are in the desert, the ones that are coming up from Mexico. Have you ever heard of this? They call them chupacabras. Anyway, they have them in our neighborhood. And every once in a while, like every 4 years or something, somebody in the neighborhood, but they come up from Mexico, and people call them chupacabras, and they're those like when you look at them, it's like a fucking hairless Zolo dog, right? Because they have like a little tuft and stuff. It looks like a wild Zolo. Do you know what that is?
No, I never hairless Zolo dog.
Yeah, see if you can pull up.
I've never seen one, but that's wild. It looks crazy. Mexican hairless dog.
And then when you pull up, they see them all through Texas and all through southern Arizona, New Mexico.
They look kind of cute though.
They're kind of cool. They're weird though.
all dogs stem from the gray wolf, and they were all inbreded.
So they say.
So they say. That's what I heard.
Do you know the word Google?
What's
Google.
Google?
Google. Where does it come from or anything like that?
Where does it come from?
Well, we have a term called Gogol or Guga or Google or Kukul. We call Kukul like a doll, but it's like in a good sense. But Google is actually like another word of saying like the boogeyman.
Really?
Yeah. And no one ever could get why Google, and I was like, wait, we call the boogeyman Google because we have that in our culture also.
And you got googly eyes, right? They're
Google.
like crazy eyes, Google eyes or whatever.
Wasn't it a number too? Isn't Googleplex like a really long number?
I'm obvious.
Yeah.
Like how long are we talking?
Like more zeros than I would even be able to count.
Really?
I think that's the number is called Googleplex. And I always thought that's where the name Google came from.
I have a theory they just gave us those kind of numbers for our brains to not be able to comprehend what they were doing to us. Like eventually your brain hits a certain point of not being able to comprehend that it decides I'm not even going to try to comprehend it. And so you just are like, oh, a Google, that's past my pay grade. And so your brain just immediately turns off. And so that's where we have all of their Google spell on us.
You know, the sickness, if you look at the coding of it, it's like 001011 or whatever. At the end, or no, it's like AB or something like that. And at the end, it just ends with 33 A's. It just says A.
I had to look this up. So a Google has 100 zeros after it, and the other way to say Google is a 10 duo trinigatillion or 10,000 sexdecillion. But yeah, it's 100 zeros, and it's
Holy
called a
shit.
Googleplex, and Google's headquarters is called Googleplex.
Yeah, that's what I saw in Palo Alto. Googleplex.
And they spell it Googol is the way that you spell the number Google.
And it sounds like a ghoul.
Are these devices monsters?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Is it AI a monster?
Not mine. Your guys is ours, but mine's not.
I mean,
Mine's a Jen.
you know, like when you really think about it, an electric structure and the things that it could do and magically send an email through the ether, and it's just like manipulating minds, and some people take it literal, some people kill themselves over the shit that they see online over this box. It's like, it's a fucking weird contraption. It's almost like a being in itself, but it's unique to each individual, so it is kind of monstrous.
I just thought a monster was following me. I went because that stuff was bothering my eyes so bad. I was like, I have to wash it off. And I was like, what the hell? What the hell? And I was like, oh my gosh, something startled me. And I forgot because of my whole outfit that I put on a tail. And I thought I was like, what's following me? I thought something touched me. And then I thought I like sat on one of my cats.
Were you chasing your own tail?
Yeah, it's so stupid. I thought it was a monster for a second. I'm like, oh,
I'm very
glad I
well.
didn't get that in the potty. I'm glad I didn't get my tail in the potty. I don't even know what I'd be like if I were a dude. Getting my tail in the potty. Did you all look up anything else about monsters? Mine were just questions for you guys. Is this a monster? Is this a monster?
What's your favorite monster?
Oh, Eminem has that song called Monster.
I'm friends
Juice
with
WRLD.
the monster that's under my bed.
Yeah, that one too. But he also had the Juice WRLD one too, I think.
Monsters Inc.
Or no, it's Godzilla. Never mind.
Yeah, I thought about Monsters Inc. too.
That's a one-eyed monster.
I love it.
Mike Wazowski.
That's another one-eyed monster, the Monsters Inc. I was looking at them. I've never seen that movie though, but isn't it those things are all created by kids' fear in the same
Yeah.
way? Now that I'm thinking about that Fred Savage movie, Little Monsters, it almost seems like the same thing. Like a
It was
bunch of
Lucy,
monsters.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like little loosh monsters.
That is it. That's exactly what it was. And in Monsters Inc. they just called it Scream, but it was basically loosh.
Yep.
Is the Angel of Death a monster?
Like
No.
the Grim Reaper?
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Well, he's on the pale horse, right?
I don't think of that as a monster. I think that death at some point for every person is a mercy.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing.
Death is an angel of mercy.
Abby, have you seen monsters in your dreams?
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I do, I learned what they are, though. Those are soul fragments, and those are always like, unless like there's demons too, and those are different. But when I see monsters in my dream, they're usually shadowy and they're scary. And I've learned that if I stop and look at it and tell it like I'll start to wake up when I see it, and I'll go, "What are you trying to teach me?" They'll stop and they'll look at me and like wait to see what I'm gonna do, and they usually don't say anything. So then I ask if it's ready to come back, because I know this is a piece of me I've compartmentalized. So it's scary. It's a scary part of me that I have blocked off somewhere in my memory.
Mm-hmm.
So if I tell it, ask if it's ready to come back, it usually is, because if it's stalking you in a dream, it's ready to come back. It wants to reintegrate. So like in my dreams, I reintegrate through sex. So I usually have sex with whatever this thing is. And like, that's just my soul likes to get busy. My daughter, though, will hug like a soul fragment, and it'll become one with her. So it's the same idea. It's like, it's becoming one with that piece of you. So monsters are generally just.
Are you always having sex with the monster?
Yeah, but I'll be different parts of me. Like one time I was sword fighting and I was a dude, but I was me. It was like my divine masculine, and I was fighting another man. And then when I was ready to integrate him, I looked at him. I was like, "Are you done fighting me?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, let's just get it on. That would be so much better than this. And he's like, "Word." And so then we kissed, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, why is this so much better than with a woman?" And it tripped me out because I had like a whole gay experience. And then I did it again with my divine feminine, where I was me, but I was definitely more butch. And there was just this beautiful, like Marilyn Monroe, blonde, like very like curvy woman, and a Venus type woman, Aphrodite type archetype. And she wasn't a monster, but I mean, I integrated her. And when I did that, I was me, but I was like a very male version of me, and I was very gay too. So my divine feminine is very lesbian, and my divine masculine is very gay. They like being with their own, but that wasn't exactly the monster thing, but it's the same idea. Like, I'm always myself when I integrate. Yeah.
Maybe the idea of like souls not having a gender plays part in the dream world, where you don't feel masculine or feminine, you just are, you don't feel it in a sense. So like, we don't know what our gender, our soul is. We come into these vessels that give us our gender. So it's either you play the masculine role or the feminine role, or is it an androgynous soul?
I think, well, because you are masculine and feminine, and we usually compartmentalize one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And for most of us, it's the feminine, men and women. We almost always suppress our feminine. So you have to, so you will have both. So you are both. Like, you're going to have masculine and feminine archetypes all in your dream space, all in your reality too. So those are all pieces of you that you have to integrate. So there are parts of you that are definitely a man. There are parts of you that are definitely very feminine and ultra feminine. and there's other parts of you that are just androgynous. But you have both. You're both. And so you will face those pieces, and as you pull them into you, you probably sometimes you'll be more like. I woke up when I had my divine feminine dream. I woke up feeling lesbian for a couple of days because I just was, because I was like, I was with the most beautiful woman in the world. Like,
You know, when your spouse cheats on you in a dream and then you're just mad at them for a few days?
yeah.
Or the weirdest, if you have a dream that you have sex with someone that you're not attracted to at all.
Oh my
it's
gosh!
your
And then you can't talk
coworker.
to him for a few
Yeah,
days.
and then you're like, oh my God, do they know that I had this dream? I remember I had a
really
friend
awkward
make
about
the
it.
mistake of telling me, and I was like in an asshole phase that they were like, I had a dream about you last night. I didn't even let them finish it. I just was like, every song I could think of that had dream in it, or anytime we were hanging out and dream, I was like, is this your song to me? Like, just a douche. But it's just because I'm jealous because I don't dream that much. Little pothead.
I dream,
Yeah,
but
it's
when I
always
dream,
weird.
they're massive. They're like, I can't even explain them. They're like just real. And they're
When-
big, divine dream.
Yeah,
Epic.
you've had some crazy,
Yeah.
awesome.
Are you guys dreamers? Donut,
Yeah.
Hillary?
Oh my goodness. I dream every night and they're scary most of the time.
Like how scary? Like demon scary or traveling scary or
Bungee
Oh,
jumping?
just like it's so like
trippy
crazy.
scary?
It's lately I haven't really been having too bad of dreams, which is nice. But I've probably only had 5 good dreams in my entire life.
Wow, really?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you this, and you're gonna have to use my dream energy for this because I'm gonna tell you to wake up now. So you don't have to totally wake up and become lucid in a dream, but I'm gonna put the suggestion in your head. Next time you have a nightmare, bad dream, whatever, if something's chasing you or there's something scary like a monster or something like that, you're gonna turn around and ask it what it's trying to teach you, and ask if it's ready to reintegrate. Try it.
I will try that. I had this constant dream as a kid of someone attacking me. And then in my dream, I always tried to like attack them back and I never could. I'd always wake up. And then one day I like killed the kid in my dream, and I've never had that dream ever again. Like a chasing
Was
dream.
the kid you?
No, it was some kid. It was some gangster kid. I don't know who he was.
I remember getting out of rehab and having this dream where this
You went to rehab?
punk ass little motherfucker like causing problems in the group that got kicked out. Like I had this dream that he finally picked a fight with me. I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, I'm getting my dream. I can kick this kid's ass. And I had to have somebody hold. That was a good dream. I was like,
That sounds like Flatliners. You know that movie where they all have to die for this certain amount of
Yeah.
time so they can have this epic dream. But it's almost in that Stranger Things way where they dream and then pull something into reality out of it.
I recently had a dream I was in control of. It was so cool. I don't know
So
what
you
that's
knew
called.
did you know you were dreaming?
I didn't know I was dreaming
Okay,
because
that's a lucid dream.
I had a lucid dream because I was editing on my computer in my dream. And I remembered right before I went to bed, I shut my computer. So I knew, I was like, I'm dreaming. I'm not on the computer because I shut the computer. So I realized I was in the dream. And then the dream froze, like a computer's freezing. My dream froze. And it was the scariest thing because it lasted 5 seconds and my dream was frozen. And I was like, I hope I'm not like in purgatory and I'm stuck here now. And I woke up and I was like, I'm going back into the dream world to try to do it again. And I did. And I went back. Yeah, it was cool.
Have any of you had a dream? It was the same dream, and you have the dream, you wake up, and a force pulls you back to sleep, and then you have the same dream again, and that happens to you 3 times in a row?
Yeah.
wow, really?
Yeah, I've
I've had
had
that
that.
happen to me.
Those dreams
But
within a
it's
dream, those are
it
always a trip, man.
But it's
When
the
you keep
same dream.
waking up,
when
I
you like when you
dreams
wake up.
You have a
like when you wake up
force.
in the
You want
dream
to
and then you
stay
wake up
up.
in that dream and like you have another dream.
No,
Wake up
when
No,
you're
no, no,
actually
no.
you wake up in real life, but you fall back
Yeah.
asleep and then you're in the same
You
dream
go right
again.
back to the dream.
Yeah. So it's like you wake up and you're like,
I
holy
gotcha.
shit. And then you're like, no, 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 I want to stay up. But this force is like, nope, you're going to go right back to sleep. And you just fall into that slumber. And then you have the same fucking dream again. And you wake up and you're like, holy, like you feel exhausted too. And like mentally like delirious too at the same time. And then you fall back into that sleep and you wake up. And then for me, it was like, oh my God, God came to me. Like, holy shit, I'm reborn.
Were you like
It was-
How
having
many
false
times has
awakening
that-
dreams?
How many
Huh?
times has
Was it like a false awakening every time? Was
I
that the
think I
dream?
told you the dream where it was like it took me up and all the gems and jewels of
Oh, yeah,
the earth
yes, that one was
attached
awesome.
to me, and like this force and this light behind me, and I was like, oh no, I'm not worthy. And he's like, teach people love, teach people love, teach people how to love again, teach people love, life, not death, murder, kill, life, love. You know?
Have you ever had a dream that came true?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
yeah.
I had a dream where two people called me on the phone yelling at me in my dream. And then I woke up, and that day, these two people that they've never called me the next day. I didn't
Oh,
answer
wow.
it. I didn't answer it. I've never talked to them ever since.
Really?
I always, if for anyone in my audience, this is like one of the things I kind of repeat, but it was when I first realized like something was different and even more unexplainable than I could even fathom. And he was telling me a story that his mom had sent him a message and she's like, come get your boxes. You know, I cleaned out your room and turned it into an office. Is that you, Gordy?
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
I don't have my teeth in to make it extra threatening. I still licked my teeth like it was there though. But his mom texted him and was like, come get your boxes out of the house. She turned the room that used to be his bedroom into like their office or something. He went and got the boxes and put them in his room, and his girlfriend called him later that weekend and asked if he would come and help her parents clean out their attic. And he was like, sure thing. So he was at her parents the following weekend, and he found a gorilla's mask in the attic. And so he was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put this on and I'm going to go and startle her. Like, I'm going to scare her like a jerk. So he put the gorilla's mask on and he walks to the front door. And he said when he opened the front door, the brightness of the sun panicked him in this way. It gave him this immediate anxiety, and he ripped the gorilla's mask off. And he was just like, oh. And he ended up packing with the parents, didn't think anything of it. Like a week after that, he was just scrolling through his box, and one teacher in like the 10th grade made them write down dream journals. So he was like flipping papers and noticed a dream journal that he was flying like really high over a town and then flying low really fast. And so he saw the trees going by really fast and the houses going by really fast. And he was so excited because he was like mastering flight in his dream. And he looked over to the right and he saw a man with a gorilla head walk out of a house, and it scared the shit out of him. He woke up. And so it was like he saw himself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
It's wild.
You guys ever like stop smoking and then get like really wild dreams for like a stint? So that was actually something that someone suggested as a way to like a cheat code for lucid dreaming. That if you can temper yourself where like you do it and then you stop and you do it and then you stop, that's one way to kind of like spur lucid dreams. But I've got another one that I don't recommend for anyone to find out, but I've found in like other people that went through the same experience. But jail dreams, like when you go to jail, like the types of dreams that you have in confinement are wildly different than ones that you have just like in normal life. And I
Accurate.
remember like the most vivid and like I would wake up and feel like me waking up was the dream part because it felt less real than the actual dreams that I was having in jail.
Yeah. Someone I know said the same exact thing. Like my
It's
dreams
so
are
hard to describe. It's
crazy in
mind
there.
blowing.
Uh-huh.
Like
Wow.
it's like when people describe like having a DMT trip or something for the first time, like, man, you can focus on one little detail and fly into it and explore it, and like it doesn't just kind of like dissipate. It's like that. And it wasn't a lucid dream because I never knew I was dreaming, but they were just so incredible. Like I would like wake up like exhausted from, you know, like the activity that was just going on in the dreams.
Yeah.
Is it because you have more time with yourself, you think? More time with your self, your inner self? So when you go to sleep
I
at
personally
night,
think it's just because being in jail sucks so bad that like your mind is ready to retreat and just like,
escape.
let's go to
Do you
Disney
sleep
World.
a lot?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this was in military, so we weren't allowed to. So that was the other thing
Oh,
too,
yeah.
is that people from regular jail would come, like, or people that were in our military jail when it got overflowed, they would go to like Bexar County, which is in San Antonio, and they would come back and be like, "Oh, bro, it's great. You can smoke all day, you can sleep all day, you do whatever you want." But in military confinement, you still had to be up at 9 or at 5 a.m. and you had to be in bed with like lights off at 9 p.m. So there was
Yeah.
like, you know, like you didn't get to decide what your own schedule was. But that was the wildest dreams of my life.
They say in like a float tank or sound deprivation chamber, because your brain can't see anything and you're like constricted, everything becomes infinity, and then your head will create everything in front of you. In a way, I wonder if you shut life off like that and put yourself in a cell, does your brain gasp for that kind of thing? So even though it's not in a confined meditation state of a half hour or an hour, you're doing it all day, that when you sleep, your brain needs that huge of a decompression to deal with the reality of how not free you are.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna wash this off. I'll be back.
Have y'all met any entities in a dream? Like I met, I
Yes.
think, an angel or God. I met
Wi-Fi
a void.
mantis. I had the mantises visit me in the dream, and I think they got me sober.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, there were alien mantises that had like
They're a real
body suits
thing.
on. Yeah, that's the crazy part, is that I told my UFO friend who likes UFOs when I was getting sober. I was like 2 years sober. I was like, and I remember the dream like 2 years later, and like I forgot all about it and I remembered it. And he was like, bro, a lot of people had that experience. And then I was Googling it, and it was the exact same experience. Also, my grandma visited me once, and I know it was her because I was like really upset, and she showed up in the dream, and then I wasn't upset anymore.
This is making me ask a question, and I know it's a weird question, but do you think that dream, since many people have that dream, is a dream that is being
Implanted.
implanted in people's brains? And if you've remembered it 2 years after, could that be a possibility?
It's making me wonder the same thing almost about prison, is if
Right.
you have all of these people in this confined space, you can do a study that you could implement, like you could put the same dreams in all of them or put different dreams in each cell, and then you could study how they would react the next day to the type of dreams they were having. Or you could even study them afterwards with parole and other type things of, if we put certain prisoners with these kind of dreams, they become this. If we put certain prisoners with these kind of dreams, they become this. Because they'll be like, oh, everyone in prison becomes a certain type of religious, or everyone in things. So what if it's there's only certain books in the library that you can actually get, and there's only like everything's just designed to create something. So what if like a cell in metal, like the same way as when you were talking about the train disappearing into the tunnel, it was like those lines have so much energy in them. And then I think the same thing about bars.
And I'm not
Like there's
saying
just
that
so
to
much
like
metal.
diminish your dream and say that it was important, but like the idea of like everyone having a similar dream like that, it always makes me ask the question, like, are these dreams coming from that source, the alien source, or is it coming from our government who want to push this agenda of like aliens being real or not? But I'm
For
the
sure.
question asker. I like to ask questions. So I'm like, what if? What if? What do you think? Huh?
Yeah, like
What?
we all have the same dreams of being like naked or whatever. Like we all are like pissing ourselves or some shit. Like we all have the same, so we're all connected in the same archetypes and whatnot. And implanting dreams makes sense because there was this Budweiser commercial, or it was an alcohol company during the Super Bowl that were implanting dreams. They've come out with articles where people would listen
There's-
to it all night so they can implant the advertisement, and so they're doing advertisements in our dreams.
Oh,
to
it's
make-
happening for sure because I'm an avid lucid dreamer, and I've actually had to yell at the dream. I actually started punching a TV set because it kept showing me an ad after I told the dream to stop, and then the TV started yelling back at me because they are putting advertise. They did it on my phone too. Like I had like like when you have the pop up malware show up on your computer. I don't know if you've ever seen that happen where you can't close the pop ups. Like all of a sudden you've got viruses and you've got like the malware viruses where it just sits there and does the pop ups. My phone was doing that in my dream too, like a couple weeks ago. So
You-
they are
had a
doing ads all the
dream?
time.
Your
Huh?
phone was in your dream?
If there's something that people say you can't dream of and it's impossible, I've dreamt it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
a lot of
she has
people
this
don't
great
dream.
hint. I always tell people that she should shout this. She says, keep your dream journal in your phone so that way you can type up easy. You can put one word in and then it'll pull up all the dreams you ever had about certain things so you can find the pattern in your own thing. So much better than writing it on paper.
Yeah, if you do it in your it's easier because you could do voice notes too. So if you just do it in your iNotes or whatever, you could hashtag it, but you don't even have to do that. But you just write the date, and then you don't have to write all the details, just write like the most important points. But you can do voice to text, which in the morning I'm really slurring. Like I sound horrible. My writing's just as bad too, but at least like it's a little bit better if I'm typing it. But you just hit the key points and you can go fill it in later. But the nice thing is you can sit there, your notes are all searchable. So if you like phone, let's see, I can tell you.
I already did this to her a few months ago with
the
phone.
lucid dream where I turned into a crow. That one, I had my phone. Let's see, 323, I had a phone. 39, I had a phone. 321, I had a phone. 319, I mean, like all those times were dreams that I had phones in. So,
Wow.
so if you do it this way, you can search, and it's important that you do it because I believe more in the importance of the location of the dream so that way you can map it. But if you pay attention to the themes of your dream, like if you're not writing it down, you don't notice that. Like one day I started noticing with the help of a friend who was more into dream interpretation that like since I started writing it down because of her, like a couple times in a row I dreamt of Scrabble tiles. Well, my dream was literally telling me that we were going to play word games. That it was using metaphor or is using words that sounded like other words to tell me what's going on. And so that was literally the point of words in a game format, like tiles. So when I see blocks in a dream now, I know that even though it looks like Legos, it's actually telling me I have a block in my chakra system, and it'll tell me the color. Or if I see ice, it's telling me that like I have, I don't know, just there's metaphors. Your dreams are metaphors. It's your body. Your body is your subconscious, and it holds all your memories and all your emotions, and it has no words. It doesn't have a voice. So all it can do is give you images, and it gives you pictures, and the pictures are in metaphor. That's how it gets but if you don't pay attention to the patterns and you don't write it down, you don't see how many times you actually dreamt that thing and how much is shouting at you.
I
We
found
got the
this
block.
yesterday. Literally, I
That's
found it yesterday just out of nowhere. A blue block, a blue Lego, mad random. I was like, oh, okay, universe, thanks. I picked it up and I took it home.
All this talk about dreaming is making me tired. So I think I'm gonna leave you guys. You're my favorite monsters. I love you guys so much.
Love you too, man. Thank you.
We'll see
It
you
was a
next
great
one.
show. I mean, Hillary. Sorry. Good night, Hillary.
God bless you, Hillary.
See you, donut.
It's funny this all went to dreams.
Yeah. But I
So you
always
know
love
what-
talking about dreams.
You know a lot about dreams.
does.
That's it's my passion really. So
I don't know anything, and I want to know. I've like kind of just done my own research on my own thinking, and I've never read like Carl Jung dream interpretation or anything. But
I have his is weird, and it's not necessarily. I don't believe that there's not a one size fits all because dreams are subjective. So what's metaphoric to me and what has meaning to me is different than what has meaning to you. So it's not always easy to interpret somebody else's dreams.
Yeah.
But
right,
but that's also not even the point. The point of dreaming is that you have an energy body and you're trying to make it perfect. So you're supposed to be lucid dreaming because lucid dreaming helps you do that.
so when you're having a dream and your body has like some kind of memory to it, right? Through emotion, it gets stored in it. So your memories get stored into the body. And when you have a dream, it's your body trying to work out what's happening. Is that what you're saying?
So like you have a dream that like I had a friend, he was like, okay, I had this dream that, I got shot in my calf, like in the front of my calf, like in my shin. He told me exact spot. And he got shot somewhere else too, like in his hip. So I will go over, I have an acupuncture chart because Chinese medicine is way more accurate than people realize. Like they have the map, the blueprint for the human robot because we're a bio robot. Like that's what the meridians are. The acupuncture meridians are it's like the blueprint for the biomechanics. And so if you go find the spot that you dreamt of, and it's whether you're injured in a dream and you have a spot that's either sick or injured or growing hair or something weird, or another person, because every person is a reflection of you in a dream too. So if I see you in a dream and you have an injury on a certain area, like your eye or something, then I'm going to go check my acupuncture chart when I wake up because it'll tell me the meridian that it's in. So it'll tell me if it's liver, gallbladder, which would usually be anger. And usually the dream will give you some sort of hint as to what memory of anger you've stored in your body. Because anytime you've been pissed off and you hold your breath, you've stored that emotion, which is energy and motion. You stopped it from moving and you kept it in your electrical system. So now your electrical system is clogged up. So anger usually stores along your gallbladder and liver meridian.
And it's funny because a lot of people drink through resentment. So they're angry. And it's funny because they drink and the alcohol goes straight to the liver.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And how many people have issues with their gallbladder and they're freaking angry ass people. And maybe they would never had to have their gallbladder removed if they just dealt with their anger.
Is there a certain,
Expressed it.
with all this knowing about sleep and whatnot, is there something with someone who is up late and goes to bed during the day? Because I'm always up at night naturally, and everyone says you got to go to sleep, and I am happier when I sleep on a better schedule. But is there something to that? Sleep schedules?
No, I've done some of the coolest shit in lucid dreams during like a 20-minute nap. So, I mean, you just gotta sleep. That's
Paranoid American said the thing about smoking sometimes, not smoking sometimes. Any time in life that I've ever put a nicotine patch on, I can lucid dream.
Yes.
I can lucid dream. And I can lucid dream like I know how to do it. Like I can like I'm not a dreamer, they say, but I'm not the only one. No. But I can just like put it on and then I know exactly what I'm doing. Like it's a superhero power with the nicotine patch. But this is the thing. The nicotine patch tells you, put it on when you wake up. and then you'll have the nicotine throughout the day. But I put it on right before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I nicotine
May as
patch all the
well.
time, but if I
Right.
were to nicotine patch, I can lose a dream every time.
I did it plenty of times too, and it's always that vivid. And Nick, yes, you can visit people in their dreams, in your dreams.
Does that shit really work? Nicotine patches like to help you quit?
It's not if you have a hand-mouth thing. This is what I realized for myself. Like
I have a
I ha-
hand mouth thing.
Yeah, for me, I have lollipops, I have gummies, I have vitamin B, like pins, I have pop pins, I have this pin, I have real pins. Like I have the amount of pins over here, I'll chew on those. Like I just have a thing with, so for me, the nicotine just stays in my system and then it gives me an excuse to go back to it again. I just have to decide, and then I just am a cunt for a little bit.
I can do the gum.
Then I'm a monster.
I do the gum. I haven't smoked in like 2 years or a year. I would be vaping all the time or smoking a pack a day, and then I do the gum because it's like that ritual or whatever. I just started smoking cigars again, which I really enjoy because it like grounds me and gets rid of my stress. And also I go
maybe
to sleep
the gum's helping you dream. You say you dream all the time.
and I got the gum in my mouth when I fall asleep a lot of times.
Oh, I used to do that with the Zen pouches.
Yeah, I did the Zen too for a while.
If I accidentally put like 2 of them in at one time, and I totally puked the fuck out of it made me vomit.
Oh
so
yeah, that's
bad.
way too
Oh
much.
my god, it was so gross. But like you kind of like had like crazy.
I hung out with a friend of mine who was addicted to the nicotine gum. And the
I'm
same
addicted to
thing,
it.
Gordy, where
I'm
every
too.
time I would hang out with him, he would always chew a piece 100% of the time. And like within like the first 5 minutes of chewing it, he would go, "Ugh." And then he'd just keep chewing and have a
I used to chew
conversation with me. And I always knew, like it got like where I was like Pavlov's dog, where every time he put it in his mouth, I got like, I know, it's so silly. With like dreaming and then like night terrors, because I had night terrors when I was a kid. And then you said one time your grandmother visited you in your dream. And I'm just thinking now how frequently my dead relatives would come to me in my dream state. And it might be one of the reasons that I don't dream as
Yeah.
much right now.
You shut it down.
My brother
What
came.
is-
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
That's
if you
okay.
get freaked out in those kind of states, man, you don't want to go back. You're not going to keep yourself sensitive to it.
My
Yeah.
brother came in
think
my
the
dream
dog's
like
just gonna-
once, and that was it.
Hi,
Just
Kitty.
one time.
What's the cat's name?
The weirdest.
Chan.
And it was weird.
Project
I had
Cam.
a baby, and it was my baby, and I don't have kids. And he wanted to see my baby, so I was like, "Oh my god, is that my brother?" He passed away. He was like 16, and I see him. I was like, "Oh my god, come over here! I want to show you my baby." Like it was nothing, and he like takes my baby, and he's holding it, and then the train was coming. So I take the baby back, and he gets on the train, and I'm just standing there, like looking at my baby, like confused at like how this all happened in the dream, because I knew he was dead in the dream, but he visited me with the baby in my hand.
And did you feel more relieved the next day? Like,
I was confused. Like
oh,
I was very confused. I don't know what the dream means, but it was my baby, but I don't have a baby, and he wanted to see it, so he came and saw it. Train came, he went in, and he left.
Okay, so back to the. Not everybody got it. You guys didn't get to see this video that Cheney shared earlier, but this girl was talking about a baby that she had dreamt of and then ended up
that's
meeting in
crazy.
real life. And what gets me is that if I go in here and I search baby
Uh-huh.
in my dream journals, I mean, I have a dream baby almost every night, and it's not the same baby, but they're always my babies, or I'm fostering somebody's babies. So
Zoom
I'm
tight.
and sometimes it's a boy, and sometimes it's a girl, and sometimes it's a newborn, and sometimes it's
Mine was a
like
girl.
yeah. And so that leads me to the theory that might be part of what like our work is in the dream space. Like mine, I think, is probably fostering babies.
Well, I'll give everybody the long and short of this video really quick because here's the thing that makes it wild. This woman has a dream that in the dream, it's taken her and her husband some time in the dream to adopt this baby, like a long time, where they finally get the opportunity to adopt this baby and they're so excited. And the baby is 6 months old. And so in real life, she has a daughter who is about to have her 6-month birthday. Oh, no, wait. She gets the baby's a year old.
Yeah.
The baby's a year old. She has a daughter in real life who's 6 months old. She has this dream, blah, blah, blah. She wakes up and she remembers the kid's name, and the kid's name starts with a letter that's a very rare name.
R.
Yeah, a really rare R name. Later on, she goes to the library. She sees grandparents holding her kid from the dream. And she's like, oh my God. And she just asked her husband the day before, I always think about this kid. I hope it's okay. And so in real life, she sees the kid and she ends up talking to the grandparents. She says the kid's magnetized to her, like hanging all over her. And then she asks how old. Oh, the kid just had its 1-year birthday 3 days ago, and her daughter was 6 months 3 days ago, which when she had the dream, she had the year
Same
baby.
birthdays.
Same birthday as in the dream. So it was like, not only did she have a dream baby, she saw the dream baby
Yeah.
in real life.
Mhm.
And this
Well,
is mind
and that's what made me think, though, because babies always like me. Like, they might cry on every other person, but they all want to be around me. And like, they sit and talk to me and they'll make noises they never make. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, they never smile at anyone.
Mhm.
You know, so I'm like, this makes sense.
So what does that mean? Like, kids are really drawn to me. Like, they're just look at me and they smile. I'm like, hi. I don't have kids. I don't plan on having kids. I love kids. Do I want any? No, thank you very much.
You probably have a whole bunch in the dream space. And so they're
Probably.
really real babies.
Yeah, probably.
There's like a whole bunch of
I'm
babies
like,
out
no,
there.
not here.
You're like a
I know
deadbeat
that
dad of the
children
dream
are
world.
honest.
Huh?
Children are honest.
They are honest, and they turn dishonest somewhere along the way, and they break your heart, and it's just like, I can't deal with the heartbreak anymore. Enough. I
They
can't do it.
all the dead that I would see, I didn't realize they were no relatives I ever met. Like, it was before I knew anyone that died. But I would explain these people in detail to my parents, and they would be like, that's my grandma, or that's so and so, or that's this person. Like, they put almost it on that I was just like, oh. But then once I got older and I started to have people that passed on, having dreams of them was fine. Almost in that way, you know how like a parent will be like, oh, well, I didn't spend as much time on you because I always knew you'd be okay. That's how I feel like sometimes dead energy is with me in dream spaces. And I feel like it'll visit other people that I love, but I don't feel like I need it as much.
Yeah.
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 And I almost wonder, like, Disney magic is if, like, you know, if I dream about my dad, does my sister have a dream about my dad on the same night, or is it like Mickey Mouse where he can't be in both dreams at the same time? You know, like Disney magic.
You could be though, because the dream hackers, they actually have a place that they've created in the dream space called the Glade, and they meet there every night, so they can be in each other's dreams every night.
This is the thing, is that you figure out the place.
Yeah, exactly. I created one. I created a place at Mount Shasta. It was freaking badass.
Have you ever been to Mount Shasta in real life?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I used to live there, so
my
wanna go
homegirl
so
lives
bad.
there, and she always invites me to come out. I'm like, maybe before the year's out. Who knows how it'll turn out?
Yeah.
I love
Mount
it there.
Shasta,
It's one of the chakras of the realm,
the Earth.
Earth's planet. Yeah,
Mount Shasta.
Mount Shasta. You
maybe the
live there?
solar
In
plexus.
Florida.
How do you live there?
There's Shasta Lake City actually, but I didn't live there. I lived in Redding, but I had a national parks pass and I went hiking every day. So I was always in the Shasta Lake, Shasta mountain area.
There's lots of energy
Mount
there people
Lassen.
talk about. Like, it's so magical and just
Wow.
energy.
Is it
one
is
of my
it
favorite
by
places on
like
earth.
that one place in California? I don't know what it's called. The mountain place.
Big Bear, Big
I
Ursa.
think a Big Bear. Yeah, is it by
Oh,
Big Bear?
El Capitan?
Y-
No.
Big Bear.
That's
No, it's not.
south. Big Bear south, high desert, and then Redding is like what, north
Northern
central,
California. Yeah, North
northern.
Central. Yeah.
So what town would you, if you wanted to go here, because it looks really cool, what town would you stay at, like Airbnb?
I would stay honestly where I would stay if I was going to go do the area, and because you're not just going to go to Mount Shasta, and you're not going to climb Mount Shasta unless you like buy crampons and all this stuff to go climb a mountain, you know. So but you go to Mount Shasta, there's like hiking trails and stuff. But I would stay in Whiskey Town because it's a really freaking cool area, or I would stay in Shasta Lake City because it's
Whiskey
close
Town
to
sounds
yeah.
cool.
Whiskey Town is
Oh.
is a lake, and it's freaking historical. It's badass, beautiful hiking trails. Shasta is also Shasta Lake City is cool because it's by Lake Shasta and same stuff. Awesome. There's the hiking is amazing there. That's all I gotta say. It's just like it's a great place to be outdoorsy.
Doing it. Have you ever been to the Jerome, the haunted Jerome or Bisbee? Have you been to Bisbee?
I haven't, but I think a ritual is going to go down in Bisbee for some reason.
You feel?
But I feel like what we saw in the Middle East is going to. I just have this feeling that Bisbee, because it's like this border town.
It's
and
weird, right?
Very Masonic there, but I want to
Yeah,
go.
every single building down that main street has Masonic symbolism on every single piece of architecture in that town, man.
Yeah, and I hear like Edgar Casey or somebody went there too. I forget who. But Jerome is interesting. I love Sedona. I lived in Sedona for a few years, and I wish I could move back and live there. It's this town. There's this town on the mountain called Jerome, and for years and years, the town would catch on fire like Lahaina did, and everyone would die, and they would rebuild it, and then it would catch on fire again, and no one knew like why it kept doing that. So it's like a real strange mystery. And Sedona is like one of those meridian ley lines connected to, I believe, Kauai or Hawaii. It's like on the same ley line, and there's like all these vortexes there.
You know what's crazy? How they completely ignored Hawaii now.
Yeah, it's all over. It's
Bizarre.
Maybe that's one of the reasons is like it's like the next part of the movie. It's the apocalypse playbook that we're all running on is kind of it makes me a little annoyed how easy I feel like everybody's just playing into the scripture.
Everybody's like playing into like
hoping for an ending.
Yeah,
hoping for a death of the world.
Yeah, it's wild. But everyone forgot I was in Lahaina,
Gordy,
like 2 months before it burned down, and the whole time I was there, I had this feeling I needed to kind of get out, or I didn't want to be in the town where Lahaina, the place that got burnt down. I was there every day. And every day I had this impending doom, and I thought it was like a tsunami or something. And then I left, and then that place like burnt down. Oh, somebody says where I go to high school in the 702. I went to Palo Verde, and my opportunity school was next to Centennial High, and I forget what the name was, but it was
in Vegas.
See,
I know because I was from Reno, so
I've never been to Reno. Cool. Is it like Reno 911?
No, like we don't even have palm trees.
That was when they were funny.
Reno.
Hey, can I show you a reel? Can I share a screen?
Heck yeah, as long as it doesn't have music on it.
No. You don't have to put music on it. Where's share screen?
Can I sing over it?
Yeah. Yeah, you can. We will.
Yeah, because they'll take the video down if we put.
If you do it and then I just turn it on, like there's like a little switch.
I also think that there's something up with zip codes. Like this guy says, shout out to 702. 702 is Vegas, and you always take out the 0 in numerology, so it's just 72. And there's 72 demons in the Goetia. There's 72 genders. There's 72 bricks on the back of the pyramid on the dollar bill. There's 72 names of God in like gematria with the tetragrammaton. And then like the 808 area code is 88 because you always take out the 0. And on 88 in the 808 area code, Lahaina went up into flames, and they had the emergency text at 808, and that's the Lionsgate portal as well. So I think there's something up with zip codes.
You know, it's so interesting. I've never heard that in numerology that you drop the 0, but when you're making sigils or anything like that, and a lot of stuff with magic, you cross out all the vowels.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's just that would be another thing where sometimes numbers and letters, it's like whatever, none of it means anything. They're all just different sigils and symbols. So the 0 and the O are just the same. So it's interesting that's not allowed to be used in magic.
Wow, that is interesting. So vowels they don't use in magic.
Yeah, they
vowels-
cross it out.
Yeah, vowels wasn't a thing for in the beginning, I guess. Like in the Semitic languages, it wasn't really a thing, and then they added the vowels. So like the root words of things are like, yeah,
Right.
there's a whole history of that.
Yeah, like in Hebrew, I could read Hebrew, and the vowels, I know how to read the vowels too, but there was no vowels in the old Hebrew. So it's like weird. And the whole English language, the IAO vowels can go back to Gnosticism, and the IAO goes into this order. It's the cornerstone of our English language, and language is like spells, like your spelling and grammar, grimoire. That IAO is like tic-tac-toe. Everything goes in this order, which I find so fascinating. IAO, tic-tac-toe, tick-tock. Everything goes in that order. So it's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, AEIOU, and I also like that it makes me so curious because the yod in all of it that they let us know that sometimes why.
I was just gonna yes,
Yeah.
I was just gonna fucking say that. Fucking why?
Yeah,
Why would
they do say that. Why do they
sometimes
say that?
why?
Yeah, and sometimes why? What
Sometimes
is
why?
this?
Where's the sometimes? Where's the rule that sometimes it's okay for that to be a vowel?
Vowel to L. So interesting.
I hear that a lot. Fee fi fo fum recently. Are the Giants coming back or something?
Maybe.
I've been hearing that a lot. Fee fi
Titans-
fo
The
fum.
gnomes. The
Titans
gnomes.
keep coming up. Hey, Donut, what were you talking about that myth or the story of the lady having a familiar owl like that she just talked to? Are you talking about the old lady who had the...
There's this chick on TikTok my mom follows, and she imprinted an owl. So the owl thinks it's its mom, and it's cool. So she just kicks it with this owl, and it's like she says it takes time to build trust. But the imprinting thing happens to humans, as you were talking about the ley lines of the meridians of the human robot biocomputer, that we can be imprinted through religions or cultures. That happens when we're young. That's why Ignatius Loyola or Aristotle or one of them two said, give me a child at 7, I'll show you the man, because we get imprinted, which is different than brainwashing. So this also happens with animals like giraffes. If it gets born at a certain time and there's like a Jeep around it, it will think that the Jeep's its mother and will try to like get milk or whatever, giraffe milk if they do that. And then they'll try to mate with it eventually too. But we get imprinted. So the owl thing is just a cool chick who has an owl for a pet. What is that? A bobcat?
That is my owl.
You have an owl?
I have lots of owls. Look at that picture though. What does that look like to you?
It looks
I'm gonna
like
zoom
a
out.
lot of different things. It looks
Doesn't
like
it look
a
like Mothman to you?
Mothman.
Doesn't that look like what they look? They say Mothman looks like.
It does look like Mothman.
It looks like the inorganic being in my dream that read to me.
And they say that that the Mothman came to people as a owl.
Oh, really?
Huh.
They're 4-foot owls. They said around when Mothman was around. And here's the interesting thing: one of the relatives on the these are great horns. This one is this one was one of my last twins of a family that I have that lives near me, but they allowed me to like watch this progress of these two twins like grow up, and it was fucking amazing. But I caught this one because they followed me when I'd walk at night, and I caught this one finally, like because they're impossible getting, pictures in the dark. So, but that's how it came out, and I'm like, oh,
Creeper.
Mothman.
I know, what a little creeper.
Is the Sandman a monster? Mr. Sandman. The Sandman, like the Sandman, the dream, the king of dreams.
I know, because that's what the whole thing is like. At first, we were like, a monster has to have a body. But then by this point, we're like, you can dream about monsters. So do those have bodies, or in the dream space? That's totally different. So a body in the dream space, it does have like more power in that way. I don't know. Do you guys have any other monster drops before we wrap her up?
Oh, trolley worms are monsters.
Sandworms. I've been to Saturn.
Yeah, sandworms.
What's trolley worms?
The gummy bears. The gummy
Oh.
trolley. They're monsters in the commercials.
Huh.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I wonder.
They're really addicting too.
I'm a gummy bear girl, Albanese. Typically, I need to just start making my own gummy bears because I don't even like all the flavors. But the Albanese, there's like a golden pack, and the flavors are the best gummy bear. It's called Ultimate Albanese Gummies. If you're a gummy
Albanese?
bear nerd, yep.
Albanese.
How do you spell that?
Albanese. And I am the worst speller, but I'm like read the pack. So
Oh,
many
yeah. They got this at my Walgreens. It's good.
Ultimate. It
Okay.
can't just be any of them. The ultimate. Well, the other ones are good, but the ultimate flavors are ultimate.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try that.
They kick it up a level. I am gonna drop this, and then Donna, if you feel like shouting out your stuff to everyone that's listening right now.
Oh, you can find me on YouTube at DOENUT. Donut.
And
Donut.
yeah,
And I want to do another podcast, and like all y'all are welcome to come on. I'll do live streams here and there on YouTube.
Right on.
Awesome.
yeah, you have tons of good stuff. Everybody should go and check you
Yeah.
out, and you're awesome on Instagram.
I really want to do a dinosaur one though, for sure.
Oh, dude.
I
Let
would
me
love to
tell
do
you.
that.
I'm totally into
He's-
the fake dinosaurs.
He's in he just was in a documentary that was made by PBS, that he was one of the guys that they went to, and he has an interesting theory, like he of like where they find the bones, they're under this specific layer, and he could talk. I hope I could get him to talk about this, because it's fascinating, because he thinks that the timeline, he believes, these are dinosaurs. These are something like dragon, like, animals, but they're just animals to him, I think, but the timeline is really, really wrong, I think, is what he's feeling. So I might be able to, if I could coax a interesting spot out of him.
Yeah, that'll be
That'd
sick.
be interesting
To like
for them.
interview a guy that believes in dinosaurs and that's his career too, just to balance it out.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting cat. Okay.
I like our idea that we had with giants and the tree of life and the different realms above and the giants and how they came down here, or they came down here because somebody stole something from them. Like, do they not want to come down here?
We have
So
this Jack and the Beanstalk
yeah, she
idea
explains
with
it
the
so much better
giants.
than I do.
And so, you know how we
Yes.
see these realms of heaven above us, and we keep thinking that these things fell. And so, why did they necessarily have to have wings, or are wings just the depiction of the fall? So, if there was a Jack and the Beanstalk idea, and somebody crawled up and stole like a golden harp or a goose that laid golden eggs, and then the giants were like, "Hey, give us that back. You can't have that yet." Maybe, and then they were coming down, and the beanstalk was cut. That also might cause a great flood, because trees always have tons of water in them. So, did we give up something? Then once we have the Nephilim here, the fallen ones, and maybe there's big, huge wombs so that men on the planet could have sex with the big, huge giants and then have the Nephilim, and some of them get banished to the sea is also another part of the story. But what if this golden harp is keeping these giants asleep, or it controls the weather?
Oh, interesting.
It's
I
just
mean-
so many ideas, because then we were looking up golden harps through all these lore, and anything with harps, there's like gods that have harps
Angels
and different
playing harp,
angels.
yeah.
Yes. And so the whole other thing is Jack, but I will not do that without Summer.
Yeah, that's separate. But
Jack
it was-
is a whole different dig.
But
Like,
the-
why is there so many Jacks?
the whole of like the idea of the center earth and like the mountain that's cut, but that could have been a tree, and that could have been the tree of life that connects to the other realms, and how they believed back in the day in a dimensional layered realm with mansions or houses. So yeah, it could be the idea that
Yeah, like
that
so many
beanstalk-
religions have that golden city coming out of the sky. Even
Yes.
if you look into old Christianity or old Hinduism, it's always this golden castle in the sky or gold big houses in the sky. So it's just like, what if we cut something off? Like, what if we even have something tethered here? It was some kind of tethers holding it closer to us. And so when we cut all these tethers, we no longer saw those floating cities.
I think you're onto something with this Jack and Jill, Jack in the Box, Jack and the Beanstalk.
Why are Johns called Jack?
Jack Corner, Jack Be Nimble.
Jack and Jill were
Cracker Jack.
like siblings who were decapitated.
Brittany saying,
Mhm.
"Why is my middle name Jack?" or somebody's middle name Jack. What did she say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Brittany's book comes out on 10/24. I am thinking I might get this book and do a live reading of the book so we can chat about it all the way through.
Oh, I want to read it.
Oh, that's a really
Oh my
cool
God.
idea.
Well, if you guys feel like hanging out for the Brittany book reading,
She's
What
a
is it about
psyop.
Brittany
Are we gonna do a book
Spears?
club?
yeah,
She's a
it's like
psyop, a huge one.
she is the tip of the spear. We think
Yes.
she can attach to she's like the Tom Hanks of pop music. She attaches to Disney. She attaches to Hollywood. She's
Pizzagate.
done movies. She's been, she's linked to Rachel Chandler. You can find her with Paris Hilton. The people she's dated, Wade Robson with his Michael Jackson connection and that whole thing. So it's like Britney, and then
Epstein, Maxwell.
Kris Jenner, having the conservatorship, and how many of these celebrities might live under that, which is so close to being called sovereign if you were the queen. Like, what makes the royal movie any different than us watching a pop princess? And so it's just Britney is. And there is, with all the research that Thomas did on adrenochrome, there is so much that she probably is a paranoid schizophrenic, and she talks about them taking her blood all the time.
And
So
schizophrenic blood is
That's the good stuff.
yeah.
Brittany.
Do they want us all schizophrenic right now?
Yeah,
Do they all want us
everyone-
crazy right now?
Yeah, on the
That's what trauma-
schizogenics.
No, that's what that trauma-based mind control does, man. It makes them split.
No.
They can do
Listen.
it. They can make it happen.
You want to talk about MK Ultra? Sometimes I think the Abrahamic system is the MK Ultra psyop that's been around for so long that people are not seeing that. Oh my God, it might be a loosh, but I see the beauty and love in it. I'm not saying anything against God because I know there's a God, but sometimes I do question because it's been thousands of years that these religions have been going on, and it's like an excuse for a reset. That's how I see it, like a reset, new religion, reset, new religion, reset, new religion. Now what is happening, I feel, is going to bring around a one world religion.
The alien religion.
Is one man's God another man's monster?
What's the difference
Yeah.
between
Oh yeah.
an imaginary best friend and believing in like things that you've never seen before?
I don't know. When I was a little kid, I was offended when my mom told me about God. I was like, "You're telling me you talked to some guy in the sky?" Like, I thought it was the most stupidest thing, and I had a great imagination.
It's not.
I don't know if anybody else had that reaction, but I did.
Because obviously there's something that fucking created
Yeah,
all this.
absolutely.
Obviously. But an idea.
Geometry, sacred
Layla,
geometry is
I
like
would have
case
loved
in
it
point.
so much more if you would have said, obviously there's something that created all of this.
Yeah.
Instead of all of this.
This divine being right here.
The God pill. Take it. Take the God pill.
Oh, yeah, that's what my friend was calling it. He's all like, "Oh, I'm not like red pill or blue." He's like, "I took the God pill," and I was like, "That's pretty cool."
Yeah, that's my whole mentality. My argument is never with the creator because I know that. I'm living proof of that. But these other things or these beings are like David and this person all created by man is like, are these things happen? Are you guys like, what is it? Like, what is it? Should I believe these stories? Should I not? But for me, it's like I feel like it's louche. I don't need religion to be in love with humanity and nature and all of that. I don't need it. Some people need it. Good for you. You know, good for you. But for me, I don't see it because all I see and repetitive proof, murder, death, kill. In the name of God, I say this is my land. I'm the chosen. Cult mentality. Like, we're the chosen. But God created everything, right? But you guys are chosen. So what kind of God are you talking about? Like that doesn't make sense to me, you know? But anyway, love you, God. Thank you.
Yeah, it's such a deep topic.
Yeah.
I felt like she was purposely, like, without hesitation, going in at Frankenstein.
Yeah. Exactly. But I'm being very, very nice and loving.
You're doing it in a loving way. I was just trying to bring it back to monsters to
With
see if you guys are going to be
situations.
anywhere else this week, or do you guys want to plug anything? I know I'm going to plug for Abby that she was over on Bootsy Owen Hunt's channel, and you can check that out. It was a good interview. Abby, are you doing anything else this week? I don't want to speak for you. I just didn't know if you'd forget it or really say it yourself.
I'm just training this week and doing my whole bodybuilding thing. So no, you can find me on Instagram, abstract1 with 2 Abby. Well, it's abstract ABB because my name's Abby.
Perfect.
That's
Abby
swag,
with
that's
abs.
swag.
You can
Layla?
find me
Thank you.
on Godpill Angel 333 right now. No, wait, 33, because my 333 is shadow banned because I was calling out a certain 1666 sabotage something situation, and I got shadow banned for that. So I'm on this page, and what I like to do on my page is I like to go live. I like to speak my mind and thoughts. I don't know anything. I like to ask questions. I just go with the flow of things, you know. I see the world different. So if you guys like to ask questions and weird questions that you ask yourself and don't want to say aloud because people think you're weird and crazy, that's me. I'm weird and crazy. So you can like
And Layla has
jive.
a really great TikTok algorithm that she shares
Yeah.
with you over on her Instagram channel. Like, she
Yes.
weeds out all the other stuff with the real ones that make her like, So that's
I ask questions. I post shit. I'm like, hey, is this real? Could this be a possibility? I want people to like expand their minds instead of like going with the Rothschild indoctrination system and the Maxwell's printed textbooks for the past 100 years. So yeah, if we could get out of that mindset, and start afresh and ask ourselves questions instead of believing these textbooks that were made by Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Yeah, we would be better off, I think. Yeah.
I like it. Gordy, anything going on?
Maybe I made a TikTok account. I don't know if I'm not doing anything yet. I'm still getting used to it, but I kind of want to start sharing the owl story because it gets fucking woo too. Like
You should start posting that on TikTok, and your stuff will start going viral because people love animals and nature on there.
And if you can, what? Can you show my YouTube channel? I've never plugged my YouTube channel, but
Okay, let's find. What's your YouTube channel?
It's Gordy Two Shoes. Oops. Yeah.
Pretty two shoes.
It's Gordy Two Shoes everywhere on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok now.
Yeah. Okay. There, that's my. See if you can show that. These were my babies this year.
I have a YouTube, but I don't make videos. I just posted our clips of what we do here on my page.
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting to, but that's it really. I go live on my page on Instagram around 4:00 ish, I would say, Eastern. So yeah, I talk a lot. I speak my mind loud and proudly. So if you like that, if you like authenticity, you'll like my content.
Donut, do you have anything that you want to plug before we close this chapter of Secret Society of Good Guys?
I'm just so grateful that I got to hang out with y'all. You guys made my night real special.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm so excited to meet you.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come back anytime.
It was a great exchange of information and knowledge and flow and energy. It was awesome.
It was super fun. And I love you guys, everybody in the chat. Thank you for hanging out tonight. You're awesome. And anywhere to find me and all my channels, you can go to projectchaney.com. And this is where we'd have some cool drop that Paranoid American's going to make soon. So, bye-bye.
Bye.